And howdy, folks. Welcome to Adventures in Alberon, our 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons game, where we're always prepared for everything. I'm Joe Treff, your Dungeon Master, and joining me are my friends Matt, Miles, Allie, and Tina. We're going to see some violence really fast tonight, but first, I have a couple of things that I want to say real quick, and then we'll do a recap of the last session, and then we're going to see what the Finger Gang is really made of. We play D&D live every Friday at 8:30 p.m. right here on Twitch, but we also re-air the session 24 hours later on YouTube. So there, each session is going to remain. So even if you're new, stick around, see if you like us, and just know, like your favorite TV show, there's 48 sessions that you can binge all in a row. Speaking of which, if you love to get caught up and you don't really want to miss another minute, or if you actually just don't feel like watching 257 hours of us playing D&D all in a row, there is a written recap available on our website, alberonrpg.com. Just click on the tab that says Our Story So Far. Also available on that website is some free content, like a session note for our original one-shot, A Tome in the Desert, which Dicey Encounters, Drew from Dicey Encounters, came and did a little guest star for us. But that's available for download under homebrew content, along with a few other things. There is a very slowly building lore section, although it does need a lot of work. Speaking of which, if you desperately want a little bit more lore, some of our channel point options are lore related. There's different tiers, so certain channel points will allow you to unlock lore in game, or you could have a section added to the codex on our website for everybody to see. If you are a faithful follower like Talon, who I think is camping this weekend, and we hope he's having. Oh, he's here, Talon. Oh no, there's a lot of light. It's pouring outside and there's lots of lightning. Well, Talon, we're happy that you're here. We're sorry for the weather. That's unfortunate. But if you are a faithful follower like Talon, you might be able to accrue enough channel points for an Adventures in Alberon shirt. There's a lot of cool things that you could do with those points, and there'll be more coming. So, stay tuned for that. Finally, Sirenscape is a fantastic digital tool set that you can use to immerse your players in everything from a cheerful tavern, that was a hard word for me to say, to a mountain that burns from within. Which brings us to our recap. So, gonna make this jungle music go away real quick. And let's launch into something a little bit more appropriate. So, Finger Gang. When we last played, the four of you found yourselves on the 3rd level of Dinman's Ward, a long-abandoned artificer's shop seemingly run by a gold-skinned wood elf named Gerard, in an effort to forge a path to the gold terrace above where items of great value are coveted by Helia Coldrot, and the purple terror Kinescale seems to make her home. You force your way through rock and dirt and into a chamber of immense humidity. Elemental water flowed weakly through a font, while elemental fire seemed to overtake the space it once occupied, flowing from and into a massive black sword in the middle. This sword is the Forge Key, a giant forge blade from the First Age, the legendary catalyst that powered the entire citadel known as Kol Arista, but also called the Cold Forge, and now lost to the ages. You left the sword with Anasu, the prim high elf artificer who seemed to be reeling after awakening several hundred years after where he belonged in time, telling you that removing it might result in tectonic activity that would destroy not just the mountain of Kol Taram, but also causing cataclysmic damage to the north as a whole. Forging ahead, you found an anteroom, and examining its contents found a number of neat items, along with a few traps that you wisely avoided. For once. You went further, discovering a workshop unlike the others, intricate mosaics of various materials and the images of 2 of the 4 Azers you've seen so far, along with a guardian, a metallic serpent with scythe-like limbs and burning coals within the seams of the armor. Up the stairs was a larger mosaic of a larger being, and on the table, notes. These notes indicated that this was to be the perfect Azer, indicating adamantine reinforced armor and a collar called the Hexproof Aegeus. You found, more disturbing still, a metal door with an arched top, wires twisted around and protruding from this frame. Shadows seem to cling to this device. And with some of your experience, you especially, Guntir, recognize that it was linked to the Shadowfell, the dark mirror plane of the already dangerous Feywild, and a place of unimaginable danger. You had Anasu work on the gate, whatever that means, and proceeded further. You found an arcane lift in an 80-foot-high room. This lift seemed to rise along a spiral of glyphs, spinning upwards, and you all rode it to the final floor of Dinman's ward. You found yourselves in an immense, dark space. Throwing light around gave you the walls at about 200 feet long. You heard movement. You saw frozen breaths, though no sources. And suddenly, the lift descended. When it arose, the hatchet man rose on it. A simple bronze humanoid, heavily patinaed with turquoise, a massive corroded axe raised high, elemental fire erupting from its skull-like mouth. The guardian, dropping some sort of active camouflage, dropped from the ceiling and onto the ground. 3 of the scythes raised high, ready to strike, and then the perfect Azer stepped forth. 11 feet tall and made of bronze, the hint of tarnish, lighter with the added adamantine perhaps. Fire did not emerge from it as expected, but its 4 eyes blazed with a cold blue light. From between massive joints, crystals of ice jutted out, breaking as he moved, but reforming just as fast. And that brings us to tonight. The perfect Azer steps forwards. You can hear it. And as it approaches, it looms large. You can see with each of these steps, the machine seems to exhale almost this puff of frost. At last, you can see suddenly the air grows cold around you. And you can see these other machines, this hatchet-like creature frozen almost in place. You can see the Guardian 2 fall silent. And then you see this creature before you gesture with its hand. By Orvanesker's will, winter has arrived. And the fire in each seems to rise up again, but this time blazing with a blue intensity. The hatchet man takes 1 step forwards towards all of you, and the serpent seems to swell in size as ice just juts from the armor. And I need everybody to roll initiative.
We're doomed. Oh, shit.
This is going to be a very interesting battle. So let me pull up just a little something for you. I need to balance the sound in a second, but let's find out.
Oh, man.
Wow. Okay, so you guys are getting lucky right off the bat. That's a natural 1 for the hatchet man's initiative. It's a -3, I think.
It's all going according to plan already.
Yeah, why not? This is perfect. You guys wanted to fight all of these machines at once. Oh, boy. Okay, so anybody, natural 20?
Yes, me.
There you go. Heinrich, look at that.
I was not prepared for it either. I was like, oh, cool. I'll be going later. I'll have time to think about what I'm going to do. Nope.
You're actually still not going first, but we'll get there in a second. 25 to 20.
21.
21 for Morwen. All righty. We got 20 to 15.
16.
17.
Whoa! What?
Shae
last?
Not going according to plan. Not according to plan.
Wait, what about our friendos?
I'm working on it. Hang on one sec.
They dipped.
7 and a 5. Actually,
I'm just shocked that
Necrotic gets way up there. Did you roll a 7?
First.
Shae, what'd you roll?
I only have a +4 to my initiative. I don't know what you guys think.
Really? Wow,
Yes.
okay.
I feel like you always go quickly though, no?
Oh, it's
Not
still
always.
better than 0.
Or maybe you just actually move very quickly. So.
First, there is this Heinrich. We're going to start off with you. You currently, in this space, are about
it's a big box,
40,
right?
It's a huge 200 by 200 foot room. There is darkness all around. The floors are stone.
I thought the light was on though when Morwen said light at the end.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah, you do have those 2 lights. So you have perfect vision of this room.
Yeah.
It is desolate and empty, save the lift right in the middle. You can see the two lights are actually elements of stone enchanted from above. So, Heinrich, you are about 45 feet away from the perfect Azer, which is in front of you.
Mm-hmm.
You have the hatchet man who is behind you by about close to 100 feet.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have the guardian off and to your right, no more than 50 feet away. What do you want to do?
Oh, boy. Starting off with wall of fire around the guardian.
Okay. So you're going to encircle it with that wall of fire?
Yeah.
Okay. So
I don't know. I'm trying something. It's a reaction, and I know that the perfect Azor is hex proof, so I'm not going to fuck with that.
you reach out, and as you cast this wall of fire, how close are you getting to the perfect Azer with this fire?
No, not the perfect Azor, the guardian. I'm not.
Oh, the
doing
guardian.
him.
Okay,
Yeah,
I got you.
Yeah, exactly. I know that. I'm not casting anything at him until
Okay. No problem. You gesture with your hand, and all of you see along the floor these celestial ruins light up this bright red color, and flames rise out of them. They shift into the sort of teal turquoise that you're used to. This creature, so it's the first time it's cast, it's going to take damage,
So
correct?
on the side of the wall specified by me, when I cast it, it takes its damage immediately, and then
Okay.
any future turns that it enters or ends near, on the inside, obviously not the outside, it'll take the damage again.
Alrighty, roll your damage for it then.
Okay. 7, 15. It's 24. It's cocked. 5. 40 damage.
40 damage. Damn.
Yeah, I rolled a lot of
Okay.
7s and 8s, and it also adds my charisma because of the.
That's phenomenal. So as the flames rise up around it, you can see this intense heat begins to melt the icicles that have erupted from the metal. You can see the metal torn around the elements of ice. This is not normal ice, but the intensity of this celestial fire is working away at it. And you can see it seems to shy away. It lets out this metallic screech. Anything else on your turn?
Yeah, I'm backing up towards the lift.
Okay, so you back up towards the lift. This brings you, using your full movement, that brings you within 70 feet of the hatchetman.
Okay.
Okay.
That's fine.
That's your turn. That is going to bring us to initiative order 20. At the top of this order, you watch as the perfect Azer seems to settle his eye, this 4 blazing points of light on you, Heinrich, having just cast something.
Yeah.
You see it steps, but as it begins to step down, this pillar of ice rises to meet its foot. And suddenly, almost Silver Surfer style, this huge entity slides along a column of ice 45 feet. So it comes to within 20 feet of you.
Oh,
Okay.
geez.
It rises up about 10 feet up on this last bit of ice.
Mhm.
That is its layer action. That is going to bring it to its turn.
Upward.
Morwen, you're going to be on deck, and then Heinrich, and then Guntir, you're in the hole. So, this creature now 10 feet up and 20 feet away from you is going to level its eye. You can see from where you are, this collar around it, even nearing you, seems to glow a little brighter. It is going to... Yeah. You watch as it lowers its right hand. This gauntlet seems to almost expand. Elements of the top pop off, and you see frost swirl from without, but within there is this brilliant yellow light. And as it gestures towards you, a streak fires out and strikes you. And I need you, Heinrich, to make a dexterity saving throw.
Oh, my
boy.
best trait. Actually, it's not that bad. Cool.
What's that?
I failed it. It's a 5. I rolled
Yep.
a 2.
Okay. That's unfortunate. Okay, quick math.
3. It's gonna hurt.
Yes, it is. You are going to take 73 points of force damage.
Oh. That's force damage?
That is force damage.
Okay.
You feel the beam strike you, and already bits of the metal begin to erode away and disintegrate at the edges.
I'm going to use the force
does that-
feedback ring.
Okay. There
Just
you
to
go.
reduce
How
the
much
damage, if nothing else. Gamble coming in clutch randomly.
So that's
I've
taking
seen them use this thing
72
ever.
points of force damage. On that card, it lists an amount.
Yeah,
Um,
2d6 to reduce it. It's a
correct. So
reaction
go ahead and
to do. Yeah.
Yep, go ahead and roll it.
4 and a 4 and a 6, 10. Take 10 off of that.
10. Okay,
So
so that's
what's the total?
62 points
Okay.
of force damage.
Cool.
And even as this energy erupts around you, you feel the ring on your finger spin, and you hear little like cogs and gizmos move, an element of the middle that seems to light up and absorb bits of that force.
Mhm.
It still hurts.
Oh yeah. A lot.
It
It's like half my
then
fucking health.
drops down 10 feet from the ice, and it's going to step to within 5 feet of you. And as it does, you can feel each step brings this aura of cold closer and closer. And as it closes within 10 feet of you, or within 5 feet of you, sorry, you're also going to take 7 points of cold damage.
Okie dokie.
That is its turn. That is going to bring us to Morwen. What do you want to do? You currently,
Hi.
100 feet behind you, there is the hatchet man, encircled in a ring of teal fire. The guardian is about 70 feet off to your right, and the perfect Azer is now only about 10 feet away, right next to Heinrich. You feel cold coming from it.
Yeah.
Wait, theoretically, when I take the damage from the cold, could that let it out again, or is it only physical source? Because it
It's
doesn't.
force.
specify.
It's force damage.
No, but this when it's stored, because then it says the next time you take damage.
You have to take force damage. Yeah, it's
Oh,
it's
okay.
basically overloading
Force
the
on
ring and
force.
causing it. Yeah.
Okay, got it.
Okay.
What do you want to do?
I can't really get close to either of the other two, except for the hatchet boy. So I think. Okay, this might be dumb as hell, but I thought the last time my last thing of saying lights and Elvish was dumb as hell, and it worked. So I'm gonna try this.
Sure.
Because they're like kind of beings, and everything's been responding to Elvish. I'm gonna try to Panache the guy that just shot at him.
Reason with it.
So, Morwen, you look up at this 11-foot tall bronze construct. You can see elemental ice burning from within. This creature emits an aura of power that makes you almost cower away as it approaches. And you try to talk to it. So
Yep.
it is going to make what? It's a charisma check, or it's a Okay.
I make a charisma check. Yep, contested by its wisdom.
It's wisdom. Okay. It rolled a 13.
I didn't roll
Oh.
yet, so give me.
Okay.
Let's see.
You have a pretty good shot here.
Let's go.
What did I say?
Charisma.
Charisma.
check.
Yeah, it's a social thing.
15.
15.
Oh,
Okay. So,
That was scary.
what are you saying?
Please stop attacking us.
That's
You look up, and it doesn't seem to react. And I would say, Morwen, you have the sense that it seems to be immune to being charmed. Something about it being a machine, perhaps, or maybe an elemental being from the plane of ice, where even emotions freeze. But regardless,
Worth a
it doesn't
shot.
seem to have much of an effect. Do you want to do anything with your movement or your bonus
Yes.
action? Or no, sorry, you still have your action because that's a bonus action.
Oh, is it? Okay.
I believe so. Yeah.
So I'm going to make a. Let's see. I'm 100 feet away from the hatchet.
You're
Axeman?
100 feet away from the hatchet man. Yes.
Hacker man.
No. Okay. I'm going to use my feline agility to double my speed to 60 feet to get towards the hatchet man and away
Great.
from
So
this fucker.
you look
Not
up,
you.
big Puss in Boots eyes, and you ask this massive being to please stop attacking, and then suddenly just volt away. You close the distance very effectively. With 60 feet, you're only about 40 feet away from the hatchet man. Anything else?
No, I can't. I'm not in range for anything else, so no.
All right, Guntir, you're up. What do you want to do?
I have a question because I don't think it's ever come up. What
Sure.
would throwing a potion count as? Is that an action?
I would count that as an action, yeah, because it's an attack roll basically.
Yeah. Okay. That's what I figured. And how far away am I from everything?
Okay, so currently 100 feet behind you is the hatchet band. Off to the right, about 60 feet, give or take 60, 70 feet, surrounded by fire is the guardian.
Okay.
And then now in front of you by only 10 to 15 feet, off to the right-hand side, you see Heinrich, and you see the perfect Azer towering above.
Yeah. Okay.
Worth noting too, the pillars of ice that he created and kind of Silver Surfer down, that has created like a 20-foot tall trail of ice that remains. That is still on the battlefield.
Okay. I think I want to throw this storm potion at him.
Okay.
Storm bottle potion at him.
Okay.
But I'm not sure. Would Guntir know?
Guntir, what do you want to do? You're taking a little while. You can see
Yeah, I'm gonna throw it.
Okay.
I'm gonna whip out the bottle and be like, "Hey!" Whip it at him.
Are you proficient with improvised weapons? I think you are, right?
I don't think so. Unless
Regardless, go ahead and make a ranged weapon attack. So just add your dexterity modifier.
Ooh. 18.
18. Okay.
Nice.
You grab the storm in a bottle, you look at it, you see the clouds swirling within, little cracks of lightning, and you take it and you hurl it. End over end, you see little bits of the crackles of lightning as it arcs up and then down and falls, bits of glass inert. It was mostly decorative, you get the sense. Additionally, as it struck, you actually would notice, I would say, from that, given your high passive perception, even before the bottle impacted, the storm inside went dead. Something about getting close to it seemed to extinguish the magic in that bottle.
Jeez.
That was your action. You still have movement and bonus action. What do you want to do?
I think I'm gonna make a little distance and bonus action. Give myself +2 to AC with Shield of... with Shield of Faith.
Okay, so Guntir ducks down, and there is this wave of energy that releases as he casts Shield of Faith. That is your turn. That brings us to the Guardian. Encircled in flame, you could see these metallic, or you hear these metallic shrieks emanate from within. The icicles that are rupturing from the metal are beginning to melt. Because it's entrapped, it has to move through, so it's going to leap through. As it moves, worth noting, you watch as parts of the metal begin to almost disappear as this camouflage seems activated by movement, but then it goes into the fire. And go ahead and roll damage for it. You watch as the active camouflage just kind of breaks away. These teal flames ripping through elements of the plate metal itself.
Yeah. Sorry, one more. 24, 7, 31, 32, plus 5, 37.
37. Damn, okay.
Yeah.
You have done 77 points of damage to this thing with a single spell. That is well done. As it goes through, you can see the teal flames, and the face emerges through. It's almost serpentine. You see 3 eyes on either side, but even as they come out, they're squinting against elements of the metal, melting with the teal flame and seeming to drift off, forming tiny celestial elements of runes, not complete runes, but off into the air. It's looking pretty hurt. But you watch as it moves. Its full 55 feet of speed. It is going to make it probably to within 40 feet of you, Guntir. It's going to use its action to dash. So Guntir, suddenly these metallic scythes carry this long creature towards you, you being the closest thing to it. And it is going to use its bonus action. And even as it closes in, you can see it gets to within 5 feet of you, and the mouth opens up, this bolt of ice rupturing forth. You see elements of the armor actually tear away from the mouth as the ice damages it as well. I need Guntir you to make a Constitution saving throw.
Oh, jeez. Okay.
Old man.
Nice. That's a 21.
Nice. Okay, so you
Whoa.
take
That was
9
fun.
points of cold damage, halved to
Ooh.
4. Additionally, you feel like elements of the ice begin to almost coat your body. You feel the last footstep as you kind of pedal backwards slow. But as you sort of find something within yourself to continue on, you yank your foot out and you feel the ice break away. And you would imagine, had you not had such a strong constitution, this thing could probably freeze you solid.
Okay. That's not.
That is its turn. That brings us to Shae, and then Chronic, and then Helia.
Oh, where am I in relation to all of this?
In relation to all of this, so currently you are about no more than 15 feet away from Guntir, and thus 15 feet away from the Guardian, which still licking with these teal flames just beginning to die down. There is at once the elements of cold and heat both at the same time here. You see the perfect Azer now off to the side, maybe another 20 feet, and you can see the Hatchet Man back kind of closer to Guntir, maybe 70 feet away.
Well,
The group as a whole is mostly behind or to the side of you.
well, I'm gonna go hit the Guardian because he's closest.
Sure. So, Shae, your footsteps kind of catch up, and on the other side from Guntir, you emerge. What are you doing?
That is a 24 to hit.
Yeah, 24 hits.
Good. Smack that boy.
Six
Teach him some
points of
manners.
damage.
How many?
6.
6 already. You get up to it, and as your fist impacts with it, it's cold. It hurts to hit. So much so. Actually, it's going to save that. It hurts to hit. You manage to push through. You would imagine if your fists were not magical, if you did not have the training that you had, this would do significantly less damage. But you torque the entirety of your body behind this blow, and it strikes true. What else are you doing? It's looking pretty rough.
Second hit is a 27.
27
Nice.
hits. Roll damage.
No, that one misses, but the 24 got it.
I know, right?
Yeah, went over.
Small window.
That's 12.
12 points of damage. All right. This thing almost kind of reels back. You hear the metal talons screeching against the stone as it's now fighting this long, it is almost 15 feet long, metallic, heavy, but under the force of your onslaught, it's beginning to lose ground.
And the last hit's a 26
Yep, that hits as well.
Whoop.
for 7 points.
7 points of damage. The final strike, it's the first one. You hear it on the stones. The second kick this time lunges it. It kind of reels to the side, and you can see parts of the metal shift, and there's just this ridge of ice. And you take your heel already up and slam it into the side. The ice shatters, and there is, for the first time, a single gout of this almost like clear-looking blood that freezes as it impacts the ground. Anything else?
I'm gonna back up
Okay.
to about where I was before.
Okay. You back up again, finding your way far away from Guntir. No problem. That is your turn. That brings us to Chronic. Chronic, following your lead, Morwen, wings unfurl, and he takes to the air, getting about 10 feet off the ground and soars in. He doesn't draw his spear at first. You watch as he comes in, first striking it, and you can see impacting the head, shifting it to the side.
On who?
Of the Guardian.
Yeah.
You can see the metal actually tears away. Elements of that same clearness spatter onto the ground. It's like ice crystals impacting onto the stone and sliding across. You can see the entire jaw and falls to the ground now. This thing falls back. The side's not able to balance. They retract, and now it's barely holding purchase. And Necrotic is going to hit it again. He's definitely going to hit it again. And you watch as now Necrotic wing spins around, pulling a spear from behind him, and in one smooth motion, decapitates the Guardian. The head clang, clang, clang onto the ground, and the Guardian is down. Heinrich, you did a tremendous amount of damage to that thing.
I burned
Well done.
my very, very, very limited spell slots on it.
You see the face of the Aircroak return and look at you, Shae, and there's a faint smile before he begins to move again, already going towards his next target. It is Helia's turn. Helia is going to bonus action hide. Guntir, you are the only person that can see Helia at this moment. She seems to drift, taking one step and another back into the shadows, and you catch the glint of a dagger emerge and track her through that. You see it kind of going through behind, and she's going to have to use her full movement to get behind this this perfect Guardian. But Guntir, you're aware that it's kind of going to, she's going to Heinrich's aid. But that is her turn. It is now the Hatchet Man's turn. So this creature closest to, I believe, you, Heinrich.
You run towards it?
His movement
Morwen's
is not
closest.
very quick. Heinrich, he lumbers towards you with his full movement, still not able to get up to where you are. However, you watch as the chest seems to and buckles outwards a little bit as if struck from within. Struck from within again and ruptures the chest. This burst of radiant cold energy emerges. Make a dexterity saving throw.
Natural 20.
Alrighty, look at that.
It's
As
two
this
two today.
elemental snow around you, you dive out of the way. You can see the ice coat the floor on the ground, and you would imagine this would have severely impacted your speed had it hit you. But no problem. You dodge out of the way. He's 10 feet away. There's nothing else he can do. That is his turn. That brings us back to initiative order 20. Point of order. The layer action happens before yours now because it happens at initiative order 20.
Okay.
You got the drop because you had the natural 20 on the first round.
Okay.
So for the layer action, this perfect Azer turns its gaze now, sweeping around, and Shae, you see as it turns all the way around, the Guardian now like fallen down, sweeps from you to Necrotic. It is going to turn to the Hatchet Man, reach out a hand, and suddenly from behind the Hatchet Man, you see a pillar of ice emerge and push it 15 feet forward, where it collides with you, Heinrich. Make a athletics check.
Okay.
You know what? Actually, never mind. It rolled a natural one.
Okay.
It collides.
Well, I got an
with you.
18, so I would like
There
to
you
just
go.
point that out because I suck
Okay.
at physical stuff.
You plant your feet, seeing this thing propelled forwards. Its
I
arms
feel like I
pinned.
would turn my
It's not
shield
expecting
towards
this.
it, just clang it off the shield.
As it gets close, you turn and hit it using the impact of it against the shield to slide it off to the side. No problem. However,
Does it move beyond me, or is it just next to me now?
It is not. It is now next to you.
So no opportunity attacks.
However, it does get to make one free melee attack as part of that layer action. It is at disadvantage because it's pinwheeling forward with a massive hatchet. That is going to be the 12 to hit.
Okay. No,
So-
that does not hit.
Misses over you. You see elements of rust falling off of it and hitting you in the face, but it does miss. It is now your turn. Go ahead.
All right. Well, everything is going at everything that I can hit. So for that dude, charms and stuff not going to work. We're going to hit it with a synaptic static.
Okay.
It just needs to make an intelligence save unless its intelligence score is 2 or lower.
It is not. So,
Okay, good. I figured.
intelligence save?
Yeah. 17 DC.
It's going to be a 4.
Okay. Perfect. Figured it. All right. So
Now,
for a
it's
minute.
disoriented now, right?
Sure. So for 1 minute, D6 minus its abilities and attacks.
Saving throw. Oh, okay. Abilities and attacks. Nice.
Yeah.
It also does a lot of damage, I think.
What's up?
It does a lot of damage too, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. It does. So we got.
Yeah, fuck it up.
33 psychic damage.
33 psychic damage.
Well, everything
All
in
right.
a 20-foot radius sphere, but I'm not trying to hit anyone else, and I know that this Azor thing doesn't matter, and I don't want to hit myself, so I just
Fair enough.
sphered that direction to just hit.
You kind of throw it behind him so the sphere envelops him as well, but nobody else.
Kind
I
of like
gotcha.
as it was rolling through the air, I just like had it ready. It's like, when he rolls into it.
Your eye, the single black eye that you have, blazes to light with the celestial rune, and behind it on the floor, the same glyph appears before it shunts the psychic energy that envelops the hatchet man. You can see these glowing, hateful, icy eyes suddenly kind of close a little bit and grow confused, perhaps. Anything else?
Yeah, bonus action healing light myself.
Okay,
So
yeah.
I'm just going to use the remaining 5d6 that I have of it.
There you go. So as you kind of step back, that spell impacting pretty strong, you take a second to put your hand upon yourself, and this healing energy surges through.
Okay.
You can go ahead and roll that. It is now your turn, Morwen. Then it is going to be its turn.
Can I guess
Oh.
if I move, then is this a ding dong in front of me paying attention to me right now?
The perfect Azer or the hatchet man next to you?
Perfect Azor. Well, I guess it's 2 then, so never mind. I'm not moving. Okay.
Wait, the hatchet man is next to Heinrich?
Yeah, so the perfect Azer pushed the hatchet man forward. That was a layer action. That happens at the very beginning of the round. That was nobody's turn, technically.
So that wouldn't have provoked an attack and opportunity from any of us that he moved past?
None of you were in base contact with him.
Okay. So where is the sorry, I'm getting confused with just like the spacing.
It's okay. It's a very large room. You currently are about 30 you're about 20 feet away from where Heinrich and the hatchet man are. That is only about 15 feet away. No, that's only about 45 feet away from where the perfect Azer is. You can see Kroddick maybe looking to your right. You see Kroddick about 20 feet away, and then you see Shae like 55, 60 feet off. You saw her as she normally does.
I think I'm going to attempt to do the same with the Azer.
Okay.
And I'm gonna
They're all Azers, so you mean the hatchet man, probably?
the perfect one.
Okay. So, Morwen, you streak towards this creature. Are you going to make an attack?
No, I'm just gonna say what's up. No, yeah.
I mean, that's literally what you did the first time, so...
No, I said
I feel like it's...
stop politely.
Okay, fair. Sorry, my fault.
It's okay.
Now she's going up and saying, "Hey, what's up?
What
why
makes you
doing
so
this?"
perfect is what I'm gonna say.
You're gonna mean girls him to death.
I'm gonna
Oh,
do
no.
sick burns. Okay. All right. So attacking perfect boy for an 18.
You swing, and even as you do with surprising speed, it shifts aside, and you miss.
Oh boy.
I mean, I'll butt some for the sake of it.
Go for it. Swing that
Finds
butt.
the DC. That's the favorite game. Find the DC.
14.
Even more. Misses with butts. It's almost taking you off balance how badly you missed with that first one. Anything else?
My pride. Yeah, I'm gonna scoot back and cunning action hide. But I'm also before I hide, I'm gonna be like, fuck you.
So, as you shift, this creature does get an attack of opportunity because
me?
it does have a feature called Sentinel. It gets to attack you, and if it hits, you don't move. It is rolling at disadvantage. That is, so it rolled a natural 20 and a 14, which does a 21 hit?
Yeah.
Okay. So, as you try to shift out, this creature swings at you, and you are going to take Ooh, okay.
Wait, am I able to uncanny dodge this? Well, he hit me, so I can't move. So how does that work?
Yeah. So uncanny dodge isn't you move. Uncanny dodge is, I believe,
Just like
You reduce
yeah,
it.
you have the damage to a attack that comes in, so you can if you want. This is going to be 14 points of bludgeoning damage and 4 points of cold damage. As it hits you, you can feel ice kind of shatter across you. However, you do not move. You realize that you are unable to do so.
let me see how many times I can use this. Oh, it doesn't have
Once
like a
per
limit.
round.
It's a reaction.
Once per
Yeah,
round.
it's a reaction. So you can only use one reaction a round. That's what limits it to once a round.
And he already, I guess,
Utilized it. So if you get hit again, you can't use it.
Can I
So-
choose to take this instead of using the uncanny dodge right now? Like, are we okay with me
Yeah,
doing that?
yeah.
Okay.
You totally can. Yeah, no problem.
Okay.
So you take the full damage,
Which is
14
21.
points of bludgeoning damage and 18 points of damage.
18. Okay.
That is your turn.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, this creature now turning, seeing you try to strike and move, it shifts. Not so fast. It reaches down and it is going to take, well, first it's going to see if it can reload its, never mind. From point blank range, it lowers this gauntlet that you've seen already strike Heinrich with this disintegrating beam. And in front of you, for those of you who are looking, you can see Morwen's eyes glow wide as this light grows bright. Make a dexterity saving throw. My d6s.
19.
Okay. Okay, so you take 82 points of force damage, halved to 41.
Oh, can I dodge this?
Yeah,
You can
can't
uncanny dodge that. So that halves it again to 10.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, half 41.
Don't you
Halves it again
No.
to
have an
20.
ability
Sorry,
though,
20.
Morwen, when you
20.
succeed on dexterity saves that you take no damage?
Yeah, that's a rogue thing, dude.
It's a rogue
Is
thing.
that a thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's on AoE stuff with
I
that other thing.
No, I believe that Morwen can now actually, if you make that check, it just negates it totally. So actually, Morwen, I believe, and thank you, Tina. I believe that's no
Thank
damage.
you very much,
Yeah.
Tina.
So
Words,
this-
still learning.
As this goes out,
First
Morwen, you're one of
time.
the few creatures that you've known about that could dodge this bolt at this range. And you watch as it streaks forwards and strikes in an element of this. Actually, the ground next to you is going to take 82 points of force damage. It is a disintegrating ray. So you watch as a 10-foot circle of this ground just melts. Elements of the rock drift away in dust, and it kind of kicks up like a cloud. But there's now a 10 by 10 pit in this area. Well done. Very, very well done.
I just
That
cut
is
out
its
like
action.
a singed fur hair.
Yeah, single whisker. That is its turn. That was well done. That is going to bring us to Guntir.
All right.
Shae, you're on deck.
Going to use the help action to distract the Azer so that Helia gets advantage on her next attack.
Sure.
Don't
Yeah.
be a hero, Gunter.
And then I'm going to use my bonus action to whack this thing with my big axe.
Yeah, go ahead and roll your attack.
That is an 18, so I know that that's not going to hit. So I'm
You
going
swing out and it can.
I'm going to use Cord's Blessing to give a +10 bonus to it.
Wow. Okay, so 28 hits. Yeah.
Wow.
Gunter, as you swing, you can feel your hand kind of shift and you know it's going to miss. It's like when you swing in baseball and you know already you're going to miss, but all of a sudden you feel almost something tug your arm and the blade strikes true. Go ahead and roll damage on that.
All right. That's going to be That's not good. That's 15 points of slashing damage. No,
15 points of
sorry,
slashing
it's
damage.
eight of slashing, and then the rest is radiant damage. Oh no, it's the same.
So
It's
remind me
more of the
again what
same
it's
15
taking.
damage, right?
15 points of damage.
15
Okay,
points of
so
slashing. Yeah.
you strike, and there is this, as like the bits of the metal kind of tear, and you slide the axe in, you pull it away. Anything else?
Nope. That's it. I think that's everything.
Alrighty. That is your turn, Gunter. You are now 5 feet away from this creature. It turns its head and looks down at you. Shae, what would you like to do?
How far away is the hatchet man?
From you, the hatchet man's about 70 feet away. Oh no, he was pushed forward, so he's
It's right
55
next
feet
to me,
away.
which is right next to
so
the
like
perfect
a step.
Azer.
Yeah,
Right?
55
They're
feet
both
away.
next to each other.
Pretty much everything now is in this swirl, this melee, about 55 feet away. And I would say, actually, Shae, now from your perspective, you can see the silhouette of Helia holding a dagger behind the perfect Azer, kind of in his shadow.
Okay. 'Hit the hatchet man. Why not?
70 feet of movement. You watch as this monk streaks across, faster even than Krodik on wing. Go ahead and make your attack.
That's a natural 20.
All right. So you go up, and this is on the hatchet man, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
That is 12.
12 points of damage.
Damage.
Okay.
And the next one is a 21 to hit.
21 hits.
For 11.
11. So with this hit, you slam your fist in. It's and the second one actually tears an element of metal away. It cascades over, and you can see the ice that was clinging to it burst from it. It's starting to look kind of rough.
Excellent. Oh, and the last one's a natural 22.
Nice. Well
Lord,
done.
dude. See, this is why we think you always roll high.
14, and for giggles, he needs to make a Constitution save.
Okay. So
Oh,
Which is
that
also...
is going to be
no, that's not an ability check, so never mind.
17.
He makes it.
Okay.
Aw,
So as
no
you
giggles.
strike, it has to shift its weight back. These metal creatures carved of bronze, under the weight of your attacks, are being like slid across the stone, but you are unable to stun it.
And then I'll back up whatever movement I have left.
What's your movement speed?
70.
70. You have no movement left. Oh no, sorry, you have 20 feet of movement left. So you back up 20 feet. No problem. Krodik now, on foot, steps forwards. He is going to attack this perfect Azer. First attack is going to be a 19. That is going to be a miss. So the first swing with the spear, a little bit low, pulls back up with it with a 23, and that is going to hit.
This is the hatchet man?
No, he's attacking the perfect Azer.
Yeah, okay, cool.
That he's trying to help you out a little bit here. That is going to be 8 points of slashing damage on this perfect Azer. The third attack is going to miss quite badly. He's going to burn a key point and make 2 more attacks, which are both going to miss. That is an 18 and a 19 for those of you keeping track at home. So Krodik is going to end his movement there. It is now Heinrich, Krodik, and Helia almost encircling this creature. That is Krodik's turn. Helia is going to make a sneak attack.
Hooray!
So all of a sudden, from
luck,
the
girl.
shadows, you can see Helia put one hand on the sort of calf, like this iron or this bronze ridge. She pulls herself, hauling up one hand. This is like Shadow of the Colossus style. This 4'2" dwarf climbing this 11-foot tall bronze creature. The dagger flashes. That is going to be a
Advantage.
yeah, that advantage. That is still only going to be actually that just hits with a 21.
Ooh.
1 sec here. That is a lot of damage. 38 points of slashing damage. However, as it strikes, it seems to almost not quite do the damage that it should. That is going to be minus. That is going to be her turn. Actually, attack. She's going to now bonus action disengage and move 30 feet away from this creature. That is her turn. That brings us to the hatchet man. He's looking pretty rough. And Shae, you feel he swings the hatchet as you like back away, too slow to reach. Looking around, I'm going to say Heinrich. Yep, Heinrich. He's going to lumber towards you. He's just going to swing at you with this hatchet. That is going to be a 23 to hit.
-3 because I rolled a d6 for it.
So 20 to
It
hit.
still misses. Or still hits, rather. It
Still hits, yeah. I was gonna say, damn, Heinrich.
No, yeah.
Beefing up over the break.
Can
He's
now
been
I
working out.
can now I expel the thing?
So this is
Force
11
ring?
points of slashing damage.
Oh, okay. All right.
So unfortunately not. However, 11 points of slashing damage.
Okay.
That is its turn.
I'm reacting with Hellish Rebuke.
All right, roll your damage on that.
Okay.
That's a lot of damage too.
Yes, it is. Very good. Very, very good. 2 10s and a 7 for 27 plus 5, 32.
What kind of damage is
5
that?
is 32. Fire damage.
Fire damage, 32.
And that's fire, not celestial, because it comes from my background or my heritage. Holy
As
shit.
you
I'm
as it
made
comes forwards, it strikes and it hurts. You feel this rage bubble within you, and as it does, the fire leaps forth and envelops this creature. You can see bits of the ice in the eyes even kind of crack. It seems to open its mouth, but only ice emerges. It's looking hurt. You can see now it kind of sags, the axe becoming almost too heavy for it to hold in one hand. It has to hold it with two. It's looking real rough. That is its turn. That is going to bring us to the top of the round. There's going to be a lair action. So now, having within all creatures within the lair. Okay, so you watch as from within this perfect Azer, there is a pulse of cold energy that sweeps out across the room. Everybody takes 10 points of cold damage, including the hatchet man. And as Heinrich, you like see the flames envelop it, there is suddenly this aura of cold that hits you from behind. And even as you take a step forwards, the hatchet man shatters in front of you. The armor just kind of rolling end over end. This thing was very close to dead. All of you for the for your next round or your next turn, your movement is halved. With the exception actually of Krodok, because he is not on the ground. That is the lair action. That brings us to you, Heinrich, with your perfect 20. What do you want to do?
Okay.
Morwen, you're on deck.
And the hatchet man is still alive?
No, he's dead.
No, okay, yeah, so the whole thing clattered around. All right.
Can't wait to loot him in the middle of this.
Yeah, right.
All his shiny parts are gone, though.
Yeah.
Well, this entirely sucks too much, so I'm just going to try it anyways. I'm just going to go for Eldritch Blast, but like at his feet to sweep it out from under him.
Okay, go ahead and make an attack roll. Yeah,
Away
why
as
not?
far away from the collar as possible, because that's the only thing I know about it, having read the description on the desk. That's the first thing I'm going to try.
Let's go ahead and make your attack rolls.
Yeah, okay. That one misses. That one misses. And that one would be 13 plus 9, 22.
22.
The first two were like 10
You
and 13.
you hold forward, and the first one streaks towards it and seems to almost slide around whatever aura is being projected. The second one, same thing, around to the side. The third one you see hit dead on, and even as it does, just vanishes. It seems whatever this collar is projects a very, very small field around it.
Sure. Okay.
Make an intelligence check.
You know I'm not good at that.
Come on, dummy.
You know I'm not good at that.
Oh, you're not.
What was it?
It's an 8.
There's a moment where you look at the gauntlet and something about it is
Yeah.
pulling at you, but you have no idea what.
Sure.
So-
I mean, I'm just gonna start. Back. I mean, its back is to me, right? It's focused on those guys, right?
As far as you can tell.
Okay. Nah, fuck it, whatever. I'm just gonna. Can I shout out a brief phrase?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. I'll be like, we gotta get its lodestone.
Excuse me?
Okay. Yeah, interesting choice of words, but all right. So in the
Get its
middle of this,
lodestone. Fuck, dude.
your Heinrich
That was one of
calls out,
its
it
sources of
echoes
power.
through the
It's one
room.
of the sources of power.
That is your turn. That brings us to Morwen. Morwen, what do you want to do?
What the fuck's a lodestone?
It's.
Is there like an obvious stone on this guy?
Would you like to make a perception check and find out?
Yeah.
That will be your action.
Oh, that's sad.
It
I don't
does.
want
Yeah, it's not
that.
great. What are you going to do?
Fuck it. I'm just gonna attack him again.
Okay.
I'm
Who are
like
you?
right
so
there
you-
anyway.
Yeah,
Didn't
it's 5
think I
feet. You
stuck.
close, no problem.
Yeah.
Your movement is halved, so you still no problem for you to get in touch with him.
Well, no, I just meant that last time he hit me, I couldn't move, so I was like right next to him, right? And then
Correct.
he-
So he shifted to move, so you're within
Okay.
5 feet of him.
Oh, he might shoot me again. Whatever, I'll do it.
I'm also within 5 feet, so you have a person within 5
Sneaky boy.
Mhm.
Sneaks.
You got a friend.
You can
got
attack at
sneaks.
advantage.
Not sneaks.
You got sneaks.
Use that.
That's a 20.
A 20 just hits.
Oh, okay.
Sneak
What
attack.
am I doing? Okay. Let's see.
Okay. Sorry.
Four plus 5. Okay, so that's 29.
29 points of damage. Okay. As you go forwards, you can see Guntir on the side. This creature's attention kind of distracted by this platinum-haired dwarf. And
He's very
Tina,
beautiful.
just so
we
you-
understand.
Tina, just so you know, it is very choppy, the stream, apparently. You streak out towards it, and it seems as if the damage that you do is not quite what you would expect it to do, but pretty good hit.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still gonna butts him too, because I can.
Alrighty, yeah, go for it. And yeah, Futara is right. This is just truly immersive streaming. This is the Azers freezing the stream. That's what it is.
So that's a 21.
21. That hits. You bring butts out as well. And now, having struck once with your sword, you know exactly where to swing.
For 5.
5. You deal just a little bit more damage to it. There's a little scratch that appears. That is your turn.
I'll take like 2 steps back.
Okay. It is going to
Oh wait,
again.
no, I don't. No, I don't.
Okay,
No, I don't.
fair enough.
Fuck it. I stay right there.
You would remember that.
Yeah.
So that is your
snuggle up.
turn. It is now its turn. It's going to see if it can get its thing back. It does not. So this creature is going to realistically, it's pretty smart. It's going to turn to you, Heinrich. And it is going to make 2 slam attacks against you. That is going to be a. Assuming what? Thank you for the bits. That is going to be a 34 to hit.
Really? Just tell me it
First one.
hits.
This one's 34. The second one is 17. So
Okay, that one
for what it's
doesn't.
worth.
No, it
Fantastic.
doesn't.
So
Is this
you
force
are going-
damage?
it is not. Sorry, this is bludgeoning
Okay.
damage.
All right. So then the stuff stored in the ring is gone after these 12 seconds, right? Okay.
Yes. That is going to be 11 points of bludgeoning damage plus 4 points of cold damage.
Okay.
That is its action. I mean, it's not real good without the disintegrating thing. It is going to. That's all it's going to do.
I'm Velo.
Yeah.
I can't help much.
That is going to bring us to Guntir. What do you want to do, Shae, or on deck?
Okay, so I'm still 5 feet, within 5 feet of this thing.
Yes. Now everybody but Shae is within 5 feet.
Okay. And I can't do that. I guess I will. I'm gonna use.
What are you gonna do?
Crusader. No, I'm gonna.
Guntir, in this moment, this creature swings out. That is going to be a 21 to hit.
Yeah, that's gonna hit.
You are going to take 4 points of bludgeoning damage
All right.
and 2 points of cold damage.
Do I get to use my guiding bolt?
Yeah.
Okay.
It just took a little long for you to act, so it gets a free action as a result. So go ahead and use your guiding bolt.
Hopefully it actually hits it. That's not gonna hit. That's not more than 20.
It wouldn't anyways. It's a magic.
What did you roll?
Less than 20.
Less than 20. Either way, as this bolt,
Yeah.
even in this lit space, lightens the room even more. It streaks forwards and just dies. Gets within range.
Okay. I can't do much else, so I guess that's gonna be it for me.
Okay. That is your turn. That is going to bring us to Shae. What would you like to do?
How far am I from this thing?
You took your full movement back away from it, so you're probably about 45, 50 feet away.
Cool. I'm gonna burn 2 for haste.
Okay, there you go.
And while I'm moving, I'm taking out the spear.
Okay. Nobody sees the spear come out, but the time Shae reaches the creature, she is holding it.
That is 25 to hit.
Yeah, go ahead and roll that damage.
8.
8 points of damage. Okay, and now, are your monk weapons considered magical as well?
No, they are not.
Okay, so that doesn't seem to do quite as much damage as you would like.
That's okay, I get 2 more.
There you go.
That is a 24
24 hits.
for 6.
6 points of damage. Well done.
And a 27
27 hits.
for 9.
You get another attack too with haste, right?
I get
Yeah.
the 2 attacks from the action and then the 1
And
attack
then the
from
third
haste.
one's for haste. Okay.
Correct.
How much damage?
9.
9 points of damage. Well done. So, initially, you guys suddenly see Shae just appear. Shae, as you move, time seems to slow down and dilate for you. You hear the magnetic field break as you pull the spear away from Gamble's holster. As you turn it around, you spin. For all of you, Shae is just suddenly on the other side of this creature. But Shae, in that space of time, these 3 rents in the metal appear from each slash of the spear. What else are you doing?
Going to whatever movement I have left back up. I also have Sentinel, for what it's worth.
Okay. Unfortunately, I believe it offset. I don't think it does anything to have it to defend against it. It is going to make its attack. If it misses, you can still move. But that's going to be a 34 to hit.
Yeah, that hits.
So that's going to hit. So you go nowhere. Suddenly, this ice seems to kind of streak out. It is going to deal 2.
It's a disadvantage though, right? Because I have haste.
Because you have haste. Yeah,
Yep.
sorry. That's still going to be a 28 to hit.
That still hits.
So that is only going to be 5 points of bludgeoning damage, but an additional 5 points of cold damage as well.
Okay.
That is your turn.
Yes, it is.
Krodik is going to take his attacks as well. That is going to be 1. Man. Okay, there we go. That's going to be 1 hit. That is going to be 2 hits. So Krodik slashing out with the spear, following haste. And you can actually see Shae. He almost goes exactly for the spots that you hit. 2 of the rents suddenly grow wider and longer. Really quick are the movements of Krodik. Those are his attacks. Seeing what happened to you, he does not move back. He stands his ground. Helia is going to take her attacks from up top. You can see Helia, for what it's worth, still holding on to this Azer. Reaches out. That is going to be a hit. And that is going to be sneak attack damage. 11. It's 27 points of damage, halved to 13. All right. Slashes across. You can see going for something on the neck, but this collar, whatever it is, seems to almost turn the blade away. But you can just see Helia up there just stabbing at this creature now again and again. That is her turn. It would be the Hatchet Man. He is dead. Back up to the top of the round. Lair actions. From where he is, can't use Cold Pulse. Has to use this. So he doesn't have an ally. Interesting. You watch as the Azer suddenly gestures down and rises, because it has to actually, 10 feet up in the air on these pillars of ice. This provokes opportunity attacks from everybody.
Yes.
Attempting with the Eldritch Blast, I'm going to just
So
assume it's
just
not
so
going
you
to
don't
matter.
have to roll. It
Yeah,
goes
exactly.
out.
I'm just trying it anyways.
Shae, what'd you roll?
27.
That hits. Go ahead and roll damage on that.
8.
He takes, it's with the spear?
Yes.
Okay. Guntir, what about you?
That's a miss from me.
All right.
Dog.
Sorry, buddy. That is going to be the layer action. That brings us to you, Heinrich. What do you want to do more when you're on deck? Then the perfect Azer acts.
It's not floating, it's standing on these pillars.
It's standing on like a 10-foot, it's like a shelf of ice that just appears.
Okay.
Can you block shoot the ice down? Knock it down?
Yeah, that's
make
what
it
I was
fall?
thinking of doing.
So I'm gonna try.
Yeah, I mean, Eldritch Blast, chop away at it, like 1, 2, 3, kind of.
For what it's worth, you're not gonna miss from this range.
Yeah.
The ice shatters underneath it, and it falls 10 feet. It takes 1 point of force damage.
Yeah! That's the
1
most I've
point of
done to
force
it this
damage.
whole
But
combat.
Force damage.
So-
It's lost. Never mind.
Yeah, right.
Damn it!
It collides. You see the knees bend. Ice shatters out from the joints. It turns to you. Pathetic. It seems to rise its gauntlet up.
Cool.
Anything else?
Yeah.
Or, sorry,
I'm gonna
that's its turn.
So,
It's layer action. Yeah, what are you doing?
so that's the action that I did, and
Okay.
I'm going to curse myself for this stupidity, and
Sure.
I'm gonna just pull out a dagger and just jump onto its arm and try to start like getting where I
So-
think the stone would be. Not
Are you
this
trying to-
round, but
Are you trying to grapple it?
I'm trying to grapple its arm so that I'm behind where the beam shoots out from.
Okay, make an athletics check. Go ahead and make an athletics check. I love it. That's fantastic.
Yeah, I'm like muttering under my breath, like, Uriel fucking better keep watching over me right now. Okay. Athletics, that's a 19. I rolled an 18. It's pretty good.
Actually, it rolled an 18 too. So
Yeah.
you guys tied on the roll. Unfortunately,
Okay.
it's also 11 feet tall.
Yeah. well,
So for a second,
I'm not
there's
even
this
trying to like
moment-
stop its movement. I'm just trying
Yeah.
to like hold on to it.
it's fairly smart for what it's
Okay.
worth. And it like looks as you do it and it just shakes you off. You like catch
Okay.
yourself. You slide across a little bit, but you stop
Okay.
yourself. That is your
Just like-
turn, Morwen. What would you like to do?
Wait, I'm adding to my message that I'm going to be slowly saying every round until people get
Sure.
what I'm saying, which is the stone is in the arm, probably.
Make an intelligence check.
I'm just guessing where it is, but I know this thing has a source of power. We need to fucking get out of here. No, it's a 6. I'm stupid.
Sorry, buddy.
I'm just guessing.
Morwen, what do you want to do?
Okay, so
thing's got a
something
weakness.
about a whatever you said, stone.
Load stone.
Lodestone
L-O-D-E.
in a hand. So
I said we need to get its stone, and I'm guessing the stone is in the hand. Those are the 2 points that I've conveyed.
okay. You said it's 11 feet, so I could probably
Morwen, what are you doing?
climb up and try to stab at this hand.
Okay, so you're gonna scale it. Given that you have a climb speed, actually, I believe, because you're a tabaxi.
Yeah.
So no problem, you can cling onto it. Go ahead and make your. Now, do you want to cling onto it and grapple it, or are you just gonna stab it?
I think I'll cling
What are you
on.
doing?
I'll go for
Okay.
a ride.
Okay, go ahead and make an athletics check.
6.
The attack would have been better.
23. So you leap up, seeing what Heinrich is doing, and even as you
Sure
do,
can't be
it just
acrobatics?
it just swings its hand at you, and you do everything that you can just to dodge that. You land on the ground. That's considered one attack. Do you have multiple attacks in a round? No, you're a rogue.
Mhm.
That's your action.
Mhm.
Bonus action, get the fuck away.
Bonus action. Yeah, I'll get away as much as I. No, because this guy keeps hitting me every time I move away. So I'll can I go snuck? I'm gonna try to go as snuck as I can.
Bonus action hide. Yeah, sure. I'll say, given the size and the other people involved, Helia's on its back. There's Krodek, there's Shae, there's Heinrich, there's Guntir. It's a little distracted, so you can attempt to hide right in front of it. Sure.
Oh,
So that's going to be a 24.
24. You attempt to hide in front of it.
Oh wait, sorry, 27. 27.
27. Okay, you feel pretty hidden.
Okay, cool.
That is your turn. That is going to bring us to, I believe, his turn. He's going to roll this gauntlet. Seems to hum to life, and you can see this yellow begin to emerge. Heinrich, you see the gaze pass over you, and it kind of raises up and turns towards you, Shae. As its gaze passes over you, Heinrich, you hear again, "Worthless," and it
well, yeah,
aims at you.
Dealt it 1 point of damage.
Shae, make
Oh
a
my
dexterity
goodness.
saving throw. And because I'm going to say Guntir, Morwen, and Heinrich, make an intelligence check.
There we go, 18.
Okay,
26.
26. All right, you are going to take 9. That's 14. That's 18. That's 24. I need more d6s. That is 29. That is 37 plus 40 is 77 points of damage
I also
halved
take 0.
because you are hasted, right?
Yes, and because
Okay.
I'm a monk.
Because you're a monk and you do monk shit. So this beam streaks towards you, and there's this matrix-like moment. Time slows, and you kick spin. You can see this beam pass above you. In this moment, as all of this is happening, the rest of you see the gauntlet rise up, and as this disintegration beam, which is magic, emerges, you see the collar for a brief second, the blue light within, go dead. And you realize that as it is using this disintegration ability, it is unable to have this Aegeus activated at the same time. However, even as it pulls the hand back, it bursts back to life. But you now know that there is this brief moment. That is going to be, that's its turn. That brings us to Guntir. What do you want to do? Shae, you're on deck.
All right. Knowing that, I think, is there a way that I can ready an action so that I can try to sleight of hand break off? It's a collar.
Mhm.
It's a huge metal. It's an 11-foot tall creature.
Okay.
So
I
this
guess-
collar,
I guess
consider
for
under
this
body.
for this turn, I suppose I'm going to cast Locate Object, and I'm going to search for the nearest lodestone to try and pinpoint it on the body.
Sure. You cast Locate Object, and you sense this wave around it, but it's almost as if there's a shadow where this creature is, and around it you
Okay.
see nothing. The spell
All
seems
right.
to slide right off.
That's what I was afraid of. Okay.
For what it's worth, you can in the future hold an action to cast something when you see something as a trigger. So you could say,
Okay.
I want to hold Guiding Bolt when I see it cast Disintegrate,
Okay.
for what it's worth.
Okay. I'll do that next time then.
That is your turn. That brings us to Shae. What would you like to do?
I'm gonna hit it.
Okay, go ahead and make your attacks.
That is a 24,
24 hits. Roll for your damage.
7,
7 points of damage. Half to 3.
that's 25,
25 hits.
or 8,
4 points of damage.
and 27.
27. Yeah, that hits as well. I had to check real quick just to make sure.
10. And as a
10.
free action, since Helia's still up there, Helia break the collar.
Okay. You hear Shae. Actually, for those of you listening, it's almost impossible to hear. You hear, it's just so quick. And Shae, in your hasted state, almost hard to communicate. But you're moving quick. The battlefield is moving quick. That is your turn.
Yeah.
It is now Krodik's turn. Krodik, following suit. For the two of you, it is these two Xingyi, although for whatever reason, Krodik a little bit less graceful than Shae is, although he rolled a natural 20. Now, interesting point of fact. As the spear strikes into one of the rents of its armor, you can see already, for the first time, this creature is beginning to look a little bit worn down. This spear should pierce deep. It should almost tear the metal open, but something about the material seems to make it immune to critical hits. Worth noting.
Wonderful.
Strikes true. You can see. Oh, actually, that's pretty good. Krodik deals. Oh, that's 12 points of slashing damage, even after the halved. And okay, so a little bit of damage as Krodik does manage to kind of twist the spear, and you see metal tear a little bit, but not nearly as much as he was hoping for. That is, Krodik is actually going to look around at all of you, and in a brief second say, use this opportunity. And he is going to take 10 feet of movement backwards, provoking an attack of opportunity. Matt?
Locate Object is still up for 10 minutes, so
Okay.
just so if it
For
does,
what it's worth.
should give
For
me a
what
full-
it's worth. Thank you for letting me know. That is important. Okay. Krodik suddenly just gets grabbed. You see this thing strike him. Krodik is going to take 10. He's going to take 10 points of bludgeoning damage as well as 4 points of cold damage. And Krodik is just stuck in place. That is his turn. Helia is going to take her attack on the top. That is going to be a 23 to hit. Helia is doing like monster damage up there.
Yeah, she should. Let's keep her up there.
That's going to be 11. That is going to be 14. That is going to be 28. That is going to be 31 points of damage, halved to 15. This creature is really beginning to show signs of wear. As Helia is now, she hears what you say, Shae, and she turns in and she just begins to jab at it again and again and again. And Morwen, for a brief moment, you are transported back to your very first moments on Alberon. You remember this goblin barbarian leaping up onto this troll and just stabbing it again and again and again. Very similar visual. But there are bits of metal. There's ice. There are elements of, like, it seems glass or gems shattering away from this collar. It still seems functional, but this thing is starting to hurt. That is her turn. That brings us to the top of the round. This creature is going to use Cold Pulse. Everybody in the room is going to take 10 points of cold damage. And your movement is halved for the next round. That brings us to Heinrich.
Yeah.
What would you like to do? More when you're on deck.
Since I'm almost dead, I just have to do this to keep another body on the field. I'm just using Cure Wounds on myself, which is not how
Okay.
I'd like to ever use it, but is what it is. So let me just do that real quick.
Well, I mean, if you died, it's still another body on the field.
Not wrong.
28 plus 9, 29, 30. Okay, that's 37 healing back.
Nice. So, Heinrich, you hold your hand over and you feel this embrace. As you say, you hope Uriel's watching. There's a moment where as this healing courses through you, you can swear, and you look at Krodik almost reflexively because you swear you can hear wings flap. But Krodik is staying grounded. He is held in place at the moment.
Cool. So since that's the action, the only other thing I got left is bonus actions. So I can't ready an action, right?
You can't ready an action because you used an action.
Exactly.
You can't ready a bonus action. What
Exactly.
you can do is you do have your movement left.
Right. I mean, the best thing to do would be to back away, and I did just heal myself so I can at least get out of the range of this thing. So yeah, I mean, as much as I can get away, which is halved, so 15 fucking feet, but I'll do it.
Take 15 feet of movement, no problem.
Yeah. And it did, already hit Krodik, so.
Yep. And so you realize that's what Krodik meant. You guys now have a moment where you can back away without him grabbing you.
Exactly.
So that is your turn. Morwen, what do you want to do? Oh, sorry. Do you have something else?
No, I just said yep.
Oh, okay, cool. Morwen, what do you want to do?
I'm gonna follow Helia's lead and climb up and start hacking at the collar.
Okay, just for fun, make an athletics check. Or actually, make an acrobatics check, because that makes more
Thank
sense.
you.
You're welcome.
So that's going to be a 33.
Morwen, you crouch, suddenly dropping by like 3 feet, and you spring up. You don't climb this creature, you leap. You land on its back. Suddenly, Helia kind of looks over, a little stunned, but then she turns back and continues to stab at it. Go ahead and make your attack.
Gladly.
And this is at advantage.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh. 16.
Unfortunately, as you go to stab down, this creature lurches to the side, attempting to grab and fling both you and Helia off. At the moment, is unable to do so, but you aren't able to take to hit it in that moment. Anything else?
Yeah, I'm gonna butts.
Okay.
And
Swing
I'm
with
yelling,
butts.
not my boyfriend!
Because he's got Krodik.
Swing down.
Still advantage, right?
No, not on the second one.
No? Okay.
That's 15.
15. Whew, misses again. But you do make your passionate plea.
Thank you.
That is your turn. That brings us to its turn. It is going to reload this beam. Interesting point of order. It's going to make a multi-attack. However, the first slam, it's going to attempt to rent Helia off. It is rolling at disadvantage because it cannot see you two. However, that is going to be enough. So you watch as suddenly this one huge metal hand closes around the back of Helia's armor. And with the second attack, it is going to fling her.
Yikes.
That's gonna suck. Okay, so you can see all of a sudden as Helia begins to stab it and you begin to try to stab it again, suddenly there is this whoop, and she just flies.
That
She is
shouldn't
going
be
to
funny.
take, I know, but it is. She's going to take only 10 points of bludgeoning damage as she collides with the floor. Puts her at minus 24.
Nope.
That is the 2 attacks. It does not have a bonus action, so
Is Krodik and Helia
that is going to be its turn. Well done. That brings us to Guntir. Guntir, you are up. Shae, you are on deck.
All right. I think I'm going to attempt to distract it, giving the help action
Action, okay.
to Morwen.
How do you distract it?
I'm gonna be like, "Hey, over here, you big, perfect a-hole!"
You big, beautiful bastard.
And, can I also use this opportunity, because I'm trying to lure it away and also get it to fire again so that I can locate the object.
Okay.
But also, assuming that I'm going to get hit, I'm probably going to need to concentrate on that so that I can still locate the object.
Okay. So what are you doing here?
So I'm using the help action, and then
Okay,
I'm going to
cool.
bonus action smash him. But locate
Okay,
object is still up.
I got you. Make your attack roll.
That is an 18, so that's gonna
18. You swing, and as this is like flings Helia away, the momentum of the throw pulls it a little bit away from you. 24?
Yeah, sorry.
That hits. Go ahead and roll damage. Never mind.
All right. It's still gonna be paltry damage. That is... that's a 9 points of slashing damage.
9 points of slashing damage. You do 4 points of slashing damage as you swing it ting off the armor, and you see a little dent. But for what it's worth, this creature is beginning to look hurt. You can see deep scores from where both Shae and Croddock have been wearing the same 3 spots again and again and again. Small areas where they've missed kind of around it, but otherwise precision. You can see behind it, there is just this now flow of ice that is beginning to freeze over from the wounds that Helia has made. This thing is looking rough.
Huh.
That is your turn. That is going to bring up Shae. What would you like to do?
I want to jump up and take Helia's spot.
All right. So as Helia flies across the room, Shae, you leap up. Go ahead and make your attacks.
That's a 26
26 hits.
for 10.
Unerring.
All right.
That's a 23
23 hits as well.
for 7.
Alrighty.
And 24.
24 hits as well.
Also for 7.
Also for 7. So
Oh my god.
you streak forwards, the spear, this time realizing you saw it kind of tilt a little bit. It threw Helia. It's kind of reeling now. And you go for the leg. You saw Heinrich try to attack it with a spell before. Didn't work. So you take the spear and you shove it straight into the joint. You twist. And as you do, ice shatters out and you feel it almost fall. The whole height for Morwen, you and you can actually see like Morwen have to like hang on as it drops a little bit. But this thing is beginning to look really hurt. Anything else? All right. There is this ice now. It's like a flow of ice straight down like a river that's frozen and it's almost reaching the bottom of it. This thing is just incredibly injured at this point. That was a lot of damage to it. That is your turn. That is going to bring us to Croddock. Croddock is going to take his attacks. It's a 7 plus. It's 1 miss. That is 1 hit. That's not the right dice. That's 2 hits. So Croddock comes in, and you could see the spear this time kind of catching your thing. The wings lifts it up, and he slashes down. Same spot. That is going to be 7 points of damage after 4, and puts the damage after 4. So 8 damage total. That is going to bring us to Helia's turn. 25 feet away, you can see Helia use the only movement that she has to lurch up to her feet. Has to like pull the leather armor back on. And she takes that first step forwards, dagger still in hand. A little bit of blood coming out of her mouth, but she's coming back. That is her turn. That brings us to the top of the round. This creature is looking hurt. At this health, there is no layer action. Heinrich, what do you want to do?
Keep on backing up and then ready for that moment when the collar goes
What
down.
are you readying?
Eldritch Blast.
Eldritch
All 3
Blast.
beams right at the collar.
You
Not
got
at
it.
Morwen, though.
You hold your hand back and these begin to glow and you wait. That is your turn. That is going to
Also
bring
moving
us...
back my full movement
Yeah.
just to stay away from it, yeah.
So you move back. You are now 45 feet away from it.
Yeah.
Morwen, what do you want to do?
Same thing while I'm up here.
Go ahead, make your attack. These are at advantage. You know how Shae just kind of like... Shae, you haven't landed on it. You're still... The momentum of that jump has you making all these attacks. You haven't landed on it yet.
That's a 27.
27 hits. Go ahead and roll damage on that. That's...
Right. That's...
Yeah.
Great face.
Nah.
That's 37.
37 halved to 50 in 1 second. Morwen, tell us how it happened.
Holy shit! I was not expecting this.
Did I attack its collar?
You were
Yeah,
up
I
there.
was.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
said.
Yeah.
So I'll just pierce the collar where it shatters, and it's just like. And I'm once all the rubble's down, I'm just gonna be like.
So you watch as Morwen, this black tabaxi, raises up pus, this long rapier, and just shoves it down into this like blistering wound of ice and metal that Helia has wrought. And as you do, the entirety of the blade, you can actually see anybody in front, the very tip of pus pierces through the bronze in the chest. You actually see, Morwen, from your perspective, just the edge of this four-pointed eye kind of glow a little dimmer. And you hear, "You have only delayed the end," as it crumbles into bits of metal and ice, and it falls apart dead. And in this moment, looking around, you see scorched the body of the Guardian. You see basically torn in half with the damage it has taken, the Hatchet Man, and now at your feet with Morwen, paws raised high in the air, is the formerly perfect Azer. And all of you are out.
As I'm
of
coming
combat.
down from the fall, because I was still up in the air, like drive the spear into his head.
And all the
Okay, so
Eldritch Blasts fire too, because technically the collar is no longer active.
Why not? The Eldritch Blast. So first of all, as it's coming down, Shae, the spear right through the metal. The head itself is torn from the body, so you have it mounted on the spear. And as the body falls, Heinrich, these Eldritch Blasts tear the legs from underneath. The whole body tilts sideways and slams to the ground. And Morwen, you kind of like back up in the air. The kind of thud echoes through this empty space, and you can feel the air slowly beginning to warm. Finger gang, you guys survived.
I was ready for a new character.
So was I.
Well, you
So-
did some serious work on the Guardian.
Yeah,
which I think
but I work in
made
short
all the
bursts.
difference.
Long combat's not so bueno.
Finger gang, in this moment, you are within this massive empty room. The light shows you the details of this space. There is stone walls, there's a stone floor. That lift still intact in the ground. There's no damage done to it. But because it is 10:03, this is where we're going to take our break. And when we come back, we will have the Finger Gang now surviving and thriving in ways. You can see Helia like limping up to the rest of you.
Just spits on it.
Yeah, she just kicks it once, and you can actually see ting, 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 the piece kind of roll across the stones. But when we come back, we will jump back into our session. Thank you guys so much for everybody who's tuned in so far. Sorry, we have had some technical difficulties, things that we are working on as always. But we'll see you in about 10 minutes. It is 10:04. We'll be back at 10:25. See you then. and welcome back to Adventures in Alberon. Thank you guys so much for sticking with us through the break. I wanted to say hello to a couple of people who are here because I like to look through chat during break. Talon, of course, so glad that you're here. Sorry about the weather, but very glad to have you with us. Das, of course, who is is always here and doing fantastic stuff and giving good ideas. Wanted to say hi and thank you to Sumiwa for the bits. For the longest running subscription, I believe, in Adventures in Alberon history. And to everybody else who is here. I know Futara was helping us out earlier, and just a whole bunch of people part of the Adventures in Alberon community. Super cool to have everyone here. Quick announcement before we get started, because the whole battle reminded me. I did post in chat a picture of this creature with the the models of the Finger Gang and everything, but sometime next week or the week after, there is some art that will be coming out of the Perfect Azer. It is being done by the Iron Tofu on Instagram. They do some really, really cool creature illustrations. So check out Instagram. That will be there when it's done. We have a couple other cool collaborations that are coming up. We'll talk about those when they come out. I don't know when they're going to be done exactly, but it's pretty cool stuff. So thank you guys for making that possible. That's the other thing. When we left off, Finger Gang, you slew all three of Jared's Azers. A fierce combat between the Perfect Azer, seemingly possessed by elemental ice or some creature thereof. You did hear him mention names and other things, but you were able to slay all three of those creatures. You see kind of charred remains of the Guardian, this metallic serpent kind of unfurled. The sides have slid away from the sheaths that are now kind of dangling limp within the housings. You could see the Hatchet Man broken in half, the head separated as well, just kind of strewn out across the room. And then you can see the central point now surrounding Morwen, the remains of the Perfect Azer, the head held aloft on a spear by Shae. And you can see on the floor, there's a 10-foot disintegrated pit. There is a lift on the ground. You can see off and about 70 feet in front of you guys, a 10-foot high, 20-foot long wall of ice. And now that the temperature is rising, because again, this is normally a warm place, you can actually see like rivulets of water beginning to run down this ice. It is normal ice. There is shattered ice also from the part that you broke, Heinrich. But aside from that, you guys find yourselves with Helia and Krodik alone in this space. What would you like to do?
Loot the bodies.
Alrighty, so who's doing what?
I'm going to go for the lodestone, and then I'm just going to tear apart the body looking for good stuff. But starting with the lodestone. Okay,
so first things first, Guntir, you especially, because you have that detect or that find object or item or whatever up, you see as soon as it begins to collapse, as soon as Morwen strikes that fatal blow, suddenly that blazes to light. You see the lodestone within, and you go forwards, you snatch it up. You can add a lodestone to your inventory. It is this prism-like three-sided pyramid with a sort of faceted bottom. And you can see it is made out of almost like a sleek black rock, and there are elements of this kind of iron-looking, almost sticks that seem to emerge from it. It is magnetic as you hold it in your hand. Elements of like metal around you do seem to kind of draw towards it slightly.
Okay. Right, Heinrich, I got the lodestone. Now what?
Now we kill it. Oh. Well, that seemed to have been the source of its power.
Mission accomplished!
You remember the drawings, right? On the table, you said that we should take these drawings lest someone else get them and make another one. Well, this, I think, was one of the sources of its power.
Yeah.
So that object's got some pretty potent stuff in it. I am just guessing. I don't know, but hold on to it.
Keep it a lodestone.
I don't know. I don't know what that really is. I just read it before. I've never seen one before. I've never heard about one. I just sounded it out.
Oh, well, it's... how best to describe it?
Guntir thinks, and Guntir, you realize a lodestone is a stone with some kind of iron component into it, and it has been magnetized through either electricity being run through it. Lightning strays can sometimes generate them, but for some reason, this stone is magnetic.
It's some sort of magnetized stone by means that
What's that word?
magnetized.
Yeah, you already lost me. Just keep it safe,
So
okay? No,
imagine
please.
a magical energy.
We just got out of one fight. I don't need to put my brain through another one right now.
All
It's
right,
okay. It's okay.
Okay, well, I'll keep it then.
Yeah.
You put it into your pouch.
And then I'm gonna just go to town on the body.
I will likewise.
So,
not go to
Heinrich,
town, but looking for the heart.
Sure. Okay, you're looking for the heart. So Heinrich,
Yeah.
make an investigation check.
Yeah.
Gunter, are you looking for anything in particular, or just looting through it?
I'm looking
18.
for like pieces
Okay.
that look like they could be potentially useful for making into something that would serve us rather than, housing this
Sure.
mechanical construct.
Make an investigation check as well. Morwen and Shae, what are you guys doing?
I'm looting for shiny shit.
What are you looting?
The shiniest one.
I mean, you can see the shiniest one is this glowing, fallen bronze creature that Gunter and Heinrich at different ends are beginning to go through. So you can join them if you want.
I go in the middle.
Go ahead and make an investigation check as well.
Throw the head
Gunter,
off
what'd you-
the spear.
I got a 14.
Okay. Shae?
I'm gonna throw the head off the spear out into the room. Just whip it out.
Ding, 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 ding.
Wait for haste to end, and then I'm gonna sit down and work on taking care of my weapon.
Okay, so you sit. Suddenly, Shae breathes heavily. You can see suddenly the skin seems to kind of become a little bit paler. And you sit down, you take your spear, and you begin to kind of work it. Krodok, this Aarakocra that you've known for your entire life, comes up and besides you, kneels down. The point of the spear kind of tipped towards, and he begins to take care of his weapon as well. You can see he turns to you. Sky Sister, you were magnificent.
It is through the feet of many that we succeeded.
He nods. He turns at this and kind of, as he is working on this weapon, you can see his hand a little bit unsteady. I do worry that we are taking quite a long time, and those who are on our path and following something parallel may surpass us.
Agree.
So you guys having this conversation off to the side. Heinrich, you move towards the chest. You see Gunter kind of greedily go towards the gauntlet, and you go towards the chest, pulling elements of metal away, having to chip through bits of ice. You do uncover a very similar construct to the one that you saw in the drawing. It does look kind of like a heart. You can see bronze panes around it. These things seem to house glass or quartz, actually. And looking at the quartz, you can see there is it is kind of damaged. You guys did quite a number on it. Within, you can see there are cracks and something has escaped through. But at the bottom, there is just the faintest bit of this kind of elemental ice. It glows faintly from within as if there is some kind of a bioluminescence to the middle of it. It sheds like a faint light to it, and you can feel, even as you kind of pull it open, it's as if you opened up a refrigerator, this of cold air. This structure itself, this heart, seems to be, you could hold it kind of wrapping your arms around it. It's pretty large.
The heart? Okay,
Yeah, the heart takes up, it looks like a heart, but it takes up a large amount of the chest cavity. It's not positioned like a heart. And as you kind of tear through it, it's not anatomically matched to a humanoid.
Sure.
The heart, make an insight check.
Oh, shoot. My number there. 13. Not bad.
13. You think about it, and you would imagine somebody trying to craft another being, might naturally kind of go towards anatomy, perhaps.
Sure. Is there anything in or around it, I suppose, that still looks active or like it might? Like, its purpose was to hold, I'm assuming, the essence of whatever was inside of all of it. So I'm trying to look for something that would be rooting it there, keeping it there like that, basically. Unless the entire
Sure.
thing itself is that.
So the heart itself seems to be a containment chamber for elemental magic or elemental energy.
Mhm.
You can see valves and other areas that lead away from it that at one point probably transported that energy to other parts of the body.
Yeah.
They are destroyed. You can see areas around the head and neck that are just slashed to almost nothing. You can see this straight column where pus pierced through the chest and out through the front. You can see there doesn't seem to be much left within the structure
Okay.
that powers it.
How about any of its plating that would look useful for armor crafting?
Hard for you to get a good guess as to how much this is, but I mean, this is roughly like 1.5 tons of bronze.
That's just
It's
bronze,
metal.
just no special metals. Bronze is, I don't need that.
It looks weird. You don't know a lot about metal. It doesn't look quite like bronze that you've seen before.
Okay.
So there is something weird about this bronze for sure. You don't get a sense that it's magical though.
Yeah. Got nothing. I'm just gonna go find the closest wall and kind of wave to everyone and be like, I'm gonna, I got hit a bunch. I'm gonna just go, sit down, do a little recover.
Helia, the dwarf with the dark hair, the braid and back now entirely undone. Her hair frizzy around. You can see blood now dried on the corner of her mouth. She kind of takes a step. You see a little bit of a limp, and she says, I'm going to join you if that's okay, Heinrich. And even if it's not, I'm too tired to care.
Are you two feeling down? Come on, buck up and channel divinity. Take some healths.
How much health are you healing?
I think I can do like 55 now.
What?
So you divide that in half between the two of them?
Divide that amongst yourselves, yeah, as you see fit, I suppose.
You can't really like give them each couple hit points and let them smear it on. So how are you dividing it?
5 times my cleric level, so yeah, 55. No, sorry.
No, 50.
50, yeah. So I guess I'll give them each 25.
Okay.
Right.
Suddenly, you feel Gunter's pruny hands rest on your shoulder, and as they do, there is this kind of energy. It seems to rock the ground beneath you, despite the fact that the stone does not move. This energy does surge through you. You can see Helia. Thank you, Gunter.
I'm gonna actually take this moment to like clap your shoulder. Gunter, I'm gonna turn directly to you and clap your shoulder and just be like, you did good out there. Thank you for being
you. I figured that I was I felt I was a little off my game,
You were here, you helped, you fearlessly drew its attention. It's appreciated.
Oh well, I gotta
That's all. I know direct compliments make it squirmy, so I'm just gonna go and rest now. And I just turn and walk off.
You need to work on your social skills.
Rest.
I do.
We need to move quickly.
I just thanked you. You're like,
Heinrich walks away. You see Helia stop as you mutter that, Gunter. She stops, she squints, and you can see there's something on her face almost. And she almost says something, but then just waves a hand. She looks too tired, and she takes one step and just turns. Thank you again, Gunter. And she follows Heinrich. The two of them go off and begin preparing for a long rest. Gunter, as you're tearing through this and looking for anything that could be valuable, is that what you're looking for? Shiny stuff?
Anything that could be...
You could be craft, right.
Yeah.
You rolled a 14?
Yes.
Okay. You dig through. You go towards the collar in particular. You look for elements, because that definitely had a lot of power to it. You can see areas that Helia kind of got the dagger into and pried open. There are exposed bits of metal, and you do find what looks like a little glass vial has like what looks like maybe mercury or some kind of a metallic thing that shimmers within. You don't know what it does, but it seems different. The 14, that's kind of all you would find.
Okay. Take that.
Morwen, what'd you roll?
I rolled a 7.
You look into the chest and you see a particularly shiny kind of screw that is jostled loose, and you take it out, and this brass in the light, imbued with a different kind of metal. It's not just brass, but you forget even that because it is very shiny. You kind of hold it up in the light. You can add one screw to your inventory. Philip said if it
Yay.
matters.
Who's
So
Philip?
One
that would
shiny
be-
Philip.
One of
do
Gerard's.
you yell at I mean, you guys didn't hear
It's,
that.
it's a Gerard's head screw.
Mm-mm. There's a Philip in this world. He was a carpenter, we'll say.
Sure. Yeah.
So this Philip said screw you can add to your inventory.
Already did.
However, it is pretty quiet. Croddock is with you. Kind of now, Guntir, you're by yourself. You can see Croddock and Shae talking to each other kind of off to the side. You can see Helia and Heinrich kind of going over and beginning to prepare to rest. And you can see Morwen just holding up a screw in the light.
I guess I'll go check out the other bodies.
Okay.
What's left of them? See if there's anything, and then
Make an investigation check for those first.
Okay.
Anybody else doing anything? Still a lot of
I'm
lag, I
gonna-
think, Tina, just so you know.
I'm maybe gonna join the sleepy crew.
Okay. You make your way over now holding this fantastic, valuable item. You put it amongst your 1,000+ gold and make your way back towards Heinrich and Helia. Helia kind of waves a hand wearily as you approach. You can see she's kind of like put her sleeping roll up against the wall, and she's just putting her head back on it. She's not even unfurling it.
I'm just gonna give her kudos for being so badass over there.
Is that what you say? You walk up and say kudos for being so badass over there?
Mm-hmm.
She looks at
Yeah.
you and kind of
Morwen's
nods.
right, Helia. You, for claiming you're only here for selfish reasons, definitely put yourself out there for all of us. Didn't go unnoticed.
You also say that there's stories about me. I mean, I'm sure there's a ton about you.
As you guys say this, you can see her head down, maybe tired, the hair kind of hanging over her face. There's a little bit of blood kind of caked into it. She doesn't quite make eye contact. She seems pretty tired, but she nods. Doesn't respond otherwise.
Cool.
Well, that's fine. I know how not having a response doesn't mean you don't have anything to say. And I'll just kind of like shuffle to give everyone space and just pull out my book and just kind of blankly stare into it and ponder like that connection and the flutter that I felt with the healing in
Sure.
relation to Uriel. See if I can
Okay.
get a better mental connection going on there.
You ponder.
Yep.
I'm now going to wander over to Chronic and Shae.
Okay. You go over, and as you
Making
do,
my
you can see
rounds.
Croddock kind of fling the spear, this one kind of motion you hear off the blade, sing, as it is now honed to a fine finish.
Zing. Sorry.
And hang on one sec here.
Zingy, nice, very good.
You see he just kind of flings this repaired blade to the side and kind of lifts it up, turns and sees you approach, Morwen, nods to you and turns to you, Shae. Shae, I am going to join the others and begin preparations to rest. It has been a long day, and while I know we must make haste, I do not imagine we are in any shape to arrive this way.
Probably
Not to fight a dragon.
Wait, did he say
But-
that in common?
Yeah, he's speaking in common. He turns now kind of between the two of you and says, but before I go, so that I know, what exactly is our plan? Are we going to fight this thing, or are we going to see it? What do we do when we reach the Golden Terrace?
That depends
Who's he
entirely on
asking?
where we
Oh,
come
okay.
out.
A good point.
And
Well,
maybe-
tomorrow we can ask, I'm sure, Heinrich has some kind of a plan.
Perhaps.
And he does a faint bow to you. Another one to you.
Zinyi to him. Our priority is the crystal, if it's there.
He turns and looks at you and nods, and in Zinyi, he responds, "One can never lose the sun in the sky." And he nods to you, Morwen, and kind of begins to head off towards Heinrich and Helia and
Oh,
the
I
group
should
of.
follow him. I was
Okay,
coming
you
over to
follow,
talk
you
to him.
follow. Suddenly,
Awkward nod
Morwen
and
kind
walk
of
in the
wheels
same-
around and walks away. Shae, you were left alone for what it's worth.
Oh, sorry.
But Craddock turns and sees you, kind of starts for a second, and then nods to you. Morwen, that was a
Hi.
very good fight.
Oh, I was just coming over to say that was very brave of you to get snatched.
I think it was a calculated risk.
So, you agree that we have some time to rest?
He looks over, and as you guys are approaching, you're maybe like 40 feet away from Heinrich and the rest of them. He nods and says, "It seems we are to rest here, at least for the night."
Okay. Once we arrive next to our group, I'm gonna wait for Guntir and then go to bed.
Okay. So you kind of go over towards where Gunter is and complete your normal nightly rituals, perhaps. Is there anything that you guys wish to do before you go to sleep, before you take this long rest?
I mean, I have things to do after and during the long rest.
Yeah, you don't sleep, so that's fine.
Nope.
I was gonna investigate those other bodies.
Oh, yeah, go ahead and make your investigation check. Yeah.
I got a dirty 20.
Dirty 20. Sure. Gunter, you go first towards the hatchet man. You can see this heavily patinaed bronze, almost teal in places, although parts of this have kind of scorched black and rented away. You can see in this mouth, for whatever it's worth, you rolled dirty 20, so there are 30 metal teeth that seem that you could actually take them out if you did want to for some reason.
I do.
I know. You can see within the eye sockets themselves, deep set in through this kind of black now. They no longer blaze with light, but there are two small rubies, maybe
Take those. Yeah.
worth 50 gold piece each. Pull those out. You can add those to your inventory. You look further and kind of pulling parts of the chest aside. You can see not in any way near as complex as the one within this perfect Azer, but a very rudimentary, almost box. You can see at one point holding elemental energy. The inside is almost blackened, but it is damp on the inside. The ice that had coated over now melted, but you don't find much else.
Okay.
There's a heavily corroded axe. It is a two-handed axe, if you want to add that as well.
That's not. I don't need that.
You look at your own axe, significantly better. So you leave that where it is. You go over to the Guardian. This creature ruined. I mean, there are elements of the plate that have been peeled back. There are the head itself has been completely severed. That's separate. But going through a little bit with the dirty 20, you would pull out from between the segments. There seem to be these minute parts. This has been carefully crafted to be able to bend and move and flex. And so there are these almost not quite hydraulic, but elements that seem to be designed to allow it to move much better, much faster, these heavy plates. And then you look at the plates themselves, very odd, the coating on the outside. There are elements of almost like when you turn it to the sides, this shift of color and iridescence perhaps, and at certain angles the light seems to almost make it clear,
Not like a holographic card.
like a holographic card, but at a certain angle it almost
God, is
seems
that a
to
first
make
dish?
it almost seems to make this distortion of light that make it semi see-through. And so much so that you can almost at angles see through the entire creature. This is a very strange camouflage, and you realize it's only when it moves that it has this effect.
Okay. And can I take those plates, or are they like probably pretty big, right?
They're pretty big. If you wanted to take one plate, which is roughly 2 feet by 2 feet and curved, probably close to getting close to 80 pounds for that one piece.
Yeah, I need that. I think I do want to try. Let's see. I'm planning on sleeping, taking a long rest, but I wanted to see about maybe doing legend lore on one of these things.
Sure. What do you want to cast legend lore on? Love legend lore.
Uh,
Adventures in Alberon, we live for legend lore.
hmm.
Got a lot of lore. And a lot of legends, actually.
Well, we don't have. No, I guess there's nothing of much use in here that would give us knowledge that could be potentially helpful at the
Okay.
moment. So I'm gonna hold off on that.
All right. Anybody else? Anything before you find your long rest? Then Heinrich will get to you because I'm sure you have things to do during the long rest.
Mm-hmm.
After Gunter's kind of done with the perfect Azer, because I
Sure.
assume it's still giving off at least a little bit of cold.
Yeah, elements of the actual metal still very cold. They retain that temperature, but quickly warming. It's warm in the space.
Definitely gonna find my rest closer to it because it's cold and that's more comfortable. It makes me feel
Sure.
a little bit closer to home than I have been in a while. So
Every now in this warm and dark, I mean, it's lit, but there is no sky overhead. And even in this massive room, for you, and probably for Croddick, it is somewhat claustrophobic. There is no sky. But you feel almost this wind. It's not wind, but the pressure of this cold intermingling with the warm air here. And in that moment, you find yourself stepping closer. There is comfort in that temperature. But all too soon, it begins to approach that same room temperature that you had before, close to 70, 75, 76 degrees. Freedom units, Fahrenheit. But I gotta learn metric system better. It's like a gaping hole in my knowledge.
Celsius? That would be, I don't know, high 20s,
Yeah,
mid
course.
20s.
You lived in Canada, yeah, of course you know that.
Yeah.
So.
It's been a minute. Fuck.
Doing anything else, Shae?
no.
Heinrich, one by one, your compatriots go to sleep. You see Guntir kind of going through everything and settling down, and Morwen kind of curling up after a little bit next to him. You see Croddick not laying down. You see the wings kind of behind him, pushing him up against the wall. But he does, head closed. Hard to tell if he's awake or not. But after a little bit, you stay awake every night, kind of watching after your compatriots. You can tell the faint changes in his breathing that say that he is asleep. And you can see Shae lingers for a moment by the perfect Azer before finding her place as well. You find yourself, after a little bit, alone in consciousness amongst this group in this space. And an hour passes, 2 hours pass. Those two overhead lights shut off. And you are left faintly in the dark. There are little sources of light here and there.
Can I try to recall the word that Morwen used, since I don't speak Elvish?
Yeah, make an intelligence check.
Let's see this one.
Number 3 of the session.
Let's try it out. I'm batting 50. All right, that is a 17.
Yeah, no problem. You remember
Fumble
the word.
on the word, I'm sure, but it's close enough to trigger it.
It kind of gets a little bit brighter and then brightens back up.
Okay. So first, that throne thing that you loosely described. I'm just gonna go check
You
that
make
out.
your way over. It's now that the creature has moved away from it, you imagine in that burst of movement, parts of it kind of fell down. But it's really just elements of rock that have been piled up to form almost like a chair. You can see on it, there's still kind of like elements of the rock that have cracked as if exposed to great cold after great heat, perhaps at some point. Looking around, taking some time, you can actually see areas where they come from. These have not been transported from somewhere else. These are from here.
Mhm.
I would say you see the walls and move over. Make your intelligence check with 17.
Mhm.
You can actually see, based on the color differences between the wall and these areas that are missing, this creature has sat in this place for some time.
So needed a chair.
Probably.
Anything off about it? Anything curious about the chair that would, I don't know, betray its I don't even know how to like phrase this. Basically, like what it was thinking, what its role was,
Sure.
its relationship to Jared, and all that kind of crap.
You get the sense that the chair, and you think back, you've been through Jared's things, you've seen these crazy overstuffed chairs, he lived a lavish life.
Mhm.
By contrast, this is simple. This is stone. This is rudimentary and kind of ugly. You don't get the sense that it's related to Jared. And you begin to look at the elements of this creature. And while it was definitely shaped by the hands that shaped these other Azers, the energy within something's wrong about. You don't get the sense that the way that this creature turned out was the way that Jared intended.
Hence being banished to this upper lofty area. Maybe.
Perhaps.
Okay. Second point of order is this actually a room with no exits other than the lift?
You take a long time. In the time that you walk around again, you're investigating this thing. The light shut off. You say the word again. They turn back on.
Can
You
I
see,
remember? Can
oh,
I like
hell yeah.
have officially learned this one word of Elvish by now too?
Sure.
Okay, cool.
It is loose. Luus.
Okay.
You take some time and you look around, and after turning the lights back on, you actually do see Karadok and Helia kind of stir a little bit each time you do it. And actually, I would imagine Shae even kind of also moves a bit. Guntir, like a rock, sleeps right through it. You take some time, you look around for another exit, and you don't get the sense that there is one. You see the lift, and you remember reading that memo in that kind of desk where you had first entered the workshops of Jared in that third floor, and you remember them saying that to complete one more layer on the structure would require this lift. This is probably the top of Dimmon's ward.
Mhm.
And you think back even further to the letter that you found on that first floor, and you remember him saying he was going to build the structure, and he didn't really care if it caused a collapse because he knew it would weaken the terrace above. You get the sense that it was never intended to penetrate into that space, and so there probably isn't a direct path. I would say still carrying over your. I'm going to do you a favor and carrying over your intelligence score. Check a 17. You look up and you begin to kind of think, and you sit down and you go over your steps. You recall how far you have traveled up. You can't imagine there is a terrible distance between the golden terrace above and where that ceiling is.
Mhm.
Hard to guess. You're guessing somewhere between 40, 50 feet, maybe at most.
Okay. Need Gunter to know how to collapse it if we need to, so that's for later. And then I feel like before I go to the book and ask a question, the last thing I would do is, at least from the things that I have collected or have here, what would most likely be the reagent for Jared's workshop if we did already pick it up unwittingly?
Sure. You kind of think back, it takes some time, you consider this. You don't get the sense that you actually found the reagent to Jared's workshop. You did not find it.
Not
You don't
me, yeah. And I guess I don't know what
um,
everyone else took. Okay.
but you vaguely have the sense that there hasn't been something. And thinking about Jared also,
Mhm.
he is a showman. You've seen the clothes that he wears. You've seen he wears it within his own workshop into a normal workday, like a split-tailed, like gossamer purple jacket. You imagine if you had this reagent, you would know it.
If I had it, but I'm not 100% certain that no one else here
Not
does.
100%, but you haven't seen anybody take anything that looks like this guy's keys, essentially.
Right. Okay. Okay. So for the Are my 3 questions to the book reset yet? I don't remember when the last time was that I used them.
So, very technically, you guys begin your long rest at 5 a.m. Not that you would know that. You guys actually carried a very good day-night cycle for a while. You kept it pretty good.
Hmm.
This is going to shift it slightly. Or recession cycle, rather. But you would know that your questions have reset at this point, yes.
Okay.
About 3 hours ago.
All right. So the one question I'm just going to ask for now is Jared alive in his workshop? Specifically referring to the Jared that I know, giving that intention to the words as I write it.
The intention and also the spelling you've learned is Jerrod. Not
Right.
terribly common. Also not an Elvish word or not name necessarily.
Right.
But you
and I hold that
kind
shitty
of
picture print, like the picture frame picture in my mind as I write his name, just so that it's like even more pointed.
sure. You see the celestial glyph that you inscribe into this book kind of almost like settling into the water, disappear into the page and reemerge reformed. It is the celestial word for no.
Mm-hmm. Okay. The second question, because I only feel like wasting another one now, is kind scale from the what was it? The Shadowfell.
You take some time, you inscribe this question, it drifts away, and as it comes back up, it is the opposite of that sigil. It is yes.
Okay. Very good points of order, or very good things to know. Okay. So the question of alive and in, it was no, but it was vague, so he could be alive elsewhere. But at least he's not in his workshop. Okay. I feel like that's all I'm going to use. I'll save the last one if I can think of a more useful question.
Okay.
Would you like some water? No.
You think about Guntir casting or what's it called? Speak with Dead.
I chuckle
Now,
to
at least-
myself and go, nah.
At least one of his questions gets wasted every time. But yeah, I guess it's it's really subjective whether it's wasted. It's really about the experience.
Checking
But
on the well-being is not always.
can I get you some water or something? Still
wanna
my
grab a
favorite
drink
use.
sometime?
They're dead.
You do it all
Wait
right.
around. It's too soon.
Yeah.
Anyhow, the night passes, and as it does, I would say, Heinrich, make a perception check. You're kind of keeping an eye out with everything that's
Always.
going on.
Always.
Always vigilant.
9. Passive 11.
Passive 11. Okay. For what it's worth, you do.
I mean,
take
nothing
some
comes up the
time,
lift.
and
That's what I'd be paying
the
attention
lift
to.
doesn't
most.
go down. It doesn't come back up. You don't hear anything overhead. I would say, well, it was 9. Yeah, that's kind of all you get.
Cool. I just want my goddamn rest.
All of you can mark off a long rest.
Yay.
Get my shit back.
One by one, Heinrich, you see your companions.
Everyone gets
stir.
bonus 10 HP, including
Yeah.
Krotic and Helia, because that is now the maximum 5
Perfect.
per
So
rest.
10 temporary hit points when you guys awake. But Heinrich, one by one, you see your companions stir awake. The last one to wake up is Helia. Kind of comes to, but you guys all find yourselves awake and relatively safe within the confines of the space. So Finger Gang coming up on the morning of the, I believe it's the 5th of the Claws of Winter. What would you guys like to do? That was a long day.
Mm-hmm.
Approach Heinrich and ask, "Did you find a way out?"
Unless we tunnel directly up, my guess is no more than 50 feet above this ceiling is the bottom or floor of the Golden Terrace. But other than that, we'll have to go back down and find a way into Jared's workshop. I know he's not in there, or wasn't when I asked. And I know that we probably don't have the key to it, which means we either find where he left it or we find him and the key. Somewhere probably around this floor. There was the area behind the door in the antechamber. Instead of going through that, we tunneled through the wall. I mean, if we backtrack down there, there's probably more rooms to explore. But it's disconnected from this whole area that we are currently in. We would have to go back through the wall. Yeah. I do have the dynamite still if we would like to just blow a hole in the ceiling and escape that way, but that would give away our position. Probably.
Wood, and apart from Croddock, how are we getting through?
Well, I could get someone else through as well. But that would, again, probably jump right into the proverbial and literal jaws of the dragon. Right. So the only thing I would have to say now is Guntir. Guntir.
Ah,
This ceiling, how sturdy does it look to you? And I would say the Elvish word for light again. I would say loose.
And then, yeah, those two spotlight lights come on, and the space feels bright.
Gotcha!
I didn't know you could speak
Just kidding.
Elvish.
I learned it from you, actually.
just
Oh,
I spent all night practicing. We're all
you listened to
darkness
me.
practicing.
That's nice.
All darkness.
How sturdy does this ceiling look?
Gunter, you
Assuming
look up.
the 50
make
feet
a-
probably between us and the next.
Sure.
Looks pretty sturdy. I mean, it's just
Make a perception check from this distance at advantage, because you do have Heinrich kind of pointing out all these specifics of this. And howdy, wise man I am.
it was perception check.
Yeah.
28.
28. You look up, you stare, and it's difficult to tell. I mean, you would imagine if you wanted to cave this in, you want to do it towards the middle, away from the walls that support the actual ceiling. It's about 80 feet up. And so that would make it kind of difficult. You kind of think about lofting a piece of TNT directly up, and perhaps not a great idea. But if there was some way to either place it up there or do some damage to the wall, you think, if only you kind of look down and you take out the lodestone, disintegration would be perfect for this particular thing. You look down at that 10 by 10 foot hole in the or pit in the stone itself. Unfortunately, you look at the wreckage of this thing, probably not going to work.
You're like, yeah, it looks like a stone ceiling. What do you want me to
It's just
assess?
its collapsibility.
I mean, I imagine if you tried to blow it up, you'd blow it up, but 80 feet, 85 feet up in the air, roughly. And what, you got like 3 sticks of dynamite left?
I think so.
Helia comes up at this point and she goes, wait a minute. You're saying we're going to blow up. What are we going
Not
to
right
do?
now. Not
I'm
right now.
saying
No,
this
it's
is
just
probably
out of
not a good
curiosity.
idea.
I don't want to do this right now. This is for future planning. When we're actually
Planning,
up
if you
on
will.
the terrace. If we could collapse it. As a defensive measure against the dragon.
How do we know exactly where we are
Under
in
it?
the Golden Terrace to even be able to pinpoint where to collapse it? Does that make
Wouldn't
sense?
really
That's
matter.
true. I mean,
Space
we
this
don't have a
large.
map.
Just blow
So
something up, it'll all collapse.
So,
Unless it's much bigger than this space, which
Well,
Is
actually,
there-
so we've seen the Golden Terrace. Is it much bigger than this space?
The Golden Terrace part that you've seen is the shelf that extends from the wall. You have no idea how deep in the Gold Glow estate goes into the mountain. You'd imagine, based on their the wealth that you've heard of from them, probably pretty deep. But the shelf itself that sat out there with the sort of golden fruit trees and the trellises and vines, that probably about the same size as the ceiling above you.
Do I notice anything else? Like now, turning my gaze away from this not so riveting ceiling, like, is there anything else about this room that looks at all breachable or an external from the lift means of entry or egress?
You get the sense that no, you've done a pretty good job of investigating this place, and you're beginning to kind of think about what the purpose of it might be. This was clearly a place, looking at the size of it, with which Jared could test things that may have unpredictable consequences, away from the workshop, away from everything, where if something were to collapse, it would not destroy the workshop below.
Okay.
You remember, or actually, I don't know that Heinrich shared the note that he found from Jared. No, you did.
I think I
You
did.
did. You read it aloud, so you would know
Yes, in the room.
that Jared. Yeah, you would know that Jared had said that should something damage this particular part, it is very likely that the terrace above would collapse.
Right. Yeah. Oh. Okay.
Seems like a good place to experiment.
Back pocket for the future when we're inevitably up there. Another thing too, Guntir, actually, I think you were talking about this and the shadow fell, right? You mentioned that gate felt something similar to that.
Oh
Yes.
yeah, the gate that we left that suspicious guy.
Yeah. Kind
May
scales
have
from there, so you were on to something with that.
Yeah, what can
Concept.
I say? Yeah.
At least if you wanted to do the thing that you do with all these creatures that just kind of makes them go away and stay away,
Yeah.
it's possible, but unlikely with all of her power, probably.
I don't
But
know.
still,
I can be pretty persuasive.
sure. You know what? Yes. Look
forced
at that. It worked
banish.
right now. Go figure. That's all. Just needed to put that out there so everyone knows.
Okay. Add
We
my
need
own
to get into his
suspicions.
workshop. We need to get into Jared's workshop. We need to find some pretty obviously tacky key like this, and I pull out the flower. That
Oh,
one that worked. It's
fine.
like it's pretty it's gaudy as all hell, and I'm sure we've all seen his portrait. Something even worse
Jared's
would
key.
bring us to his workshop.
Let's start
and then
making
up.
moves. I want to get
We-
the hell out of
we
here.
need
this
to move.
moment, I will
Let's
now
go.
use legend lore to try
Okay.
and learn about the key.
Okay. So what are you taking? Which key?
The key, Jared's key that we are looking for.
So to cast legend lore, you need to have the object.
No,
And you cast.
I need to name or describe the object.
Okay. Go ahead and make an intelligence check.
It
I'm gonna
says,
laugh if it just
oh, I don't
describes
need
the
to.
forge key.
It just tells it to me because it's a level 5 spell.
The intelligence check is you're trying to describe and name this object that you've never seen. It's just you're saying Jared's key, which technically it is not. It is a reagent, but we'll
Well, Jared's reagent.
sure. So what's your intelligence check?
That was a 15.
Okay. You cast legend lore, thinking about and naming Jared's reagent, and as you mumble that word, your eyes kind of go wide, your features slack, and you are pulled away from where you are. You go back, and suddenly you are at the beginning of this workshop, and it is busy. There are dwarves passing you, faceless, kind of lost in this smudge of memory. You can see this individual. All of a sudden, these dwarves going past you kind of part. And as you turn, you can see Jared, this face a little smudged in this weird kind of memory. You can sort of see the purple coat, the twin tails behind. Very Willy Wonka in his appearance, actually. There is no top hat, but in its place, there are these kind of steampunkish goggles with the multiple lenses in one eye. But as he approaches, you can see all of the dwarves give him a wide berth.
Oh.
And he walks. You hear the gait, very unique. Not a limp, more of a swagger,
Oh.
but this kind of very distinct kind of pattern of movement. And he approaches, you see, as he approaches this arc light, he reaches into one pocket. You see him pull out these 3 objects, put them in one hand and put them in another pocket, the same pocket that actually Heinrich had found those 3 objects in. And he produces from his hand this it is a golden brooch of his very own likeness. And as he takes it, he presses it into the arc light, just disappears. And you're pulled back into the present.
Now we gotta find a brooch. It's got his face on it. It's really tacky.
Cool.
Yeah.
None of us have seen that, have we?
As far as you guys remember, you think back, you haven't seen a brooch like that. As you guys are doing that, I'm going to look up Legend Lore because I want to see one thing real quick. You might learn one additional thing. But while Guntir is doing this, is anybody doing anything else?
Starting to move towards the lift, I guess.
Yeah, same. Moving towards the left. I don't know what else to do personally.
It's a big empty room with dead things in it. Don't need to be here any longer.
Okay. Krodek begins to move in that direction. Helia as well. She casts one more glance up, and I would say, Guntir, you can kind of hear her murmur, "So close." She turns and kind of continues. You consider for a little bit while longer, but you don't really put anything else together.
Well, what's our plan?
Let's go check.
Everybody
the other
else is
parts of
already
the-
like 45 minutes, or sorry, not 45, 50 feet away in the middle of the room.
45 minutes away.
We've
Well,
already
Guntir's
found
face, he's
Yeah.
old. 287.
Eventually.
The hatchet man would have like surpassed Guntir.
Yeah.
Following us.
Lumbering by.
Guys, they'll find out.
I mean, his speed is 30, so he is faster than Guntir, I believe.
Yeah.
He is, in fact, faster than.
Yeah.
I only learned the word loose, by the way, so I don't know the.
You guys are left in darkness.
Hey!
I'm gonna do some Guntir stretches too, and just say, down in Elvish.
And Guntir, in the dark, as you're kind of tottering towards the elevator, suddenly you hear, and this elevator begins to rotate down. You see 1, 2, these red glyphs as it is going down. It has to get all the way down to go back up. Guntir, you see it gets 10 feet down. Are you going to run and try to catch it?
Yeah, I gotta go.
Okay. Make an athletics or acrobatics check, your choice. You guys, 15 feet down, you see Guntir suddenly emerge from the edge.
We'll
Dirty
come
20.
back up. Sorry.
Guntir leaps off and falls. It's only 15 feet, but that's 3 times the size. That's 3 times Guntir's height. You fall, and Guntir, you superhero landing. You're inside. You feel your knees pop. It hurts, but you don't need to let that out if you don't want. You land in a very cool looking way, and you slowly stand back up. Krodek nods, kind of impressed.
Nice move there.
Yeah.
Helia kind of nods approvingly. Guntir stays suspiciously quiet, but the platform rotates once, twice, 3 times, settles down, and you guys are again within this long kind of wedge-shaped room. You can see the hallway beyond, kind of leading back and into the rest of the 3rd floor and Jared's workshop.
Onward.
Well, first to what? Going back up?
Onward.
Yeah.
You guys kind
I
of
take it for another spin. No, I don't. I do it.
you guys kind of begin to move towards the hallway. And so as you do, typical finger gang marching order.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Morwen in front. Where are you guys going to go? You have a decent idea as to some of the layout of this place at this point.
So aside from the forked area where it goes over to the arc light, this hallway just goes back into his workshop.
Yes. So I will say, from what you guys know, hang on one sec.
Like it's separated from the rest of the floor that we were on prior to making the hole in the wall, right?
Correct. So you actually, there's a path that you guys have not explored yet. From the ante room, there was the trapped room. I mean, the trapped hallway, and the other hallway that went to the arc light. This, before you had gone to the actual ante room itself.
There's like the sloopy hallway.
Yeah, and so the sloopy hallway went up and into the workshop with Gerard's stuff and the mosaics. There was a path to the right that you guys did not take. Yeah, it's kind of the only place that you firmly know that you have not been to on this floor, on this side of the gun hole,
So,
which you have sealed.
Right. I want to check back in with Anasu and see how he's doing first.
Okay,
That's what
You guys
that's
make-
what I would say. I don't know if anyone else wants to split up and look around this floor to cover more ground, but
So you guys make your way back to Gerard's workshop. And I would say, Morwen, you leading the way, both you, Shae, and Guntir all at the same time are aware that the sounds have shifted slightly. As you approach, you can hear a faint wind in the distance. And as you get towards the workshop, Morwen, you're the first to see that beyond this doorway, once dormant, is now very much active. You can hear coming from it this kind of wind, and you almost hear words within that wind, but not quite. They tickle at the edges of your mind, and you can see the shadows in this room have drawn into this doorway, and it is black within.
That's not good.
Hold up.
And actually, Guntir and Shae, with your passive perception, you also see kind of fluttering in this wind, every now and then kind of flapping, a single piece of parchment that is kind of up against the wall that would lead up the stairs and towards the mosaic of the final and perfect golem, or Azer. You can see this little like piece of paper kind of flapping up against the wall.
Is there a way to reach that without getting sucked into this seemingly black hole like thing?
You don't feel a pull, you feel wind, but you can approach if you want. Sure.
I'm going to cautiously approach to go grab that paper.
Okay. You cautiously approach. You step by everybody and make your way one step at a time. As you get closer, you can hear the wind louder. And absolutely, you hear whispers. They're not a language that you understand. You're not even sure if it's a language. But you feel and sense that somewhere there is the passage of air through throats, although you don't necessarily feel or hear it. But you get to the note, you pull it, pick it up, no problem. You kind of shake it. The ink has run a little bit, but recent and fresh, jagged, hastily written. I've stepped through. Nothing for me here. Best of luck. Anasu. And the U at the end, just off the page.
Hey, remember that guy that we met who was gonna try and fix this to make it work?
Or not.
He
Or-
did.
he's gonna take it apart. Or
No.
no, he made it open.
He made it.
For your guys' perspective, Guntir looks over, and you guys are seeing Guntir looking over, saying that, holding up a note that's flapping in the wind from this darkened door, clearly active, like tendrils of shadow drifting off, operating like smoke, just for what it's worth.
Yeah, I can see that. I'll just go into and like keep a wary eye on the door.
I'm also
You guys,
going to tongues.
okay. You cast tongues, and as you do, you can hear these strange voices kind of take shape. You can hear, I see. Come, see.
Yeah.
And then it kind of goes to this, just kind of disappears into a sort of breeze. And you almost feel, and as you look around, you realize you're a step closer.
What language was this in? Did only Guntir understand that?
I understand
Yes.
everything now.
Guntir understands everything at the moment.
Can you understand this? And I flip it. No, I'm just kidding.
Guntir, you see, best friends.
Aw, that's so nice.
Lauren's so sweet.
Oh, that's why I haven't killed you yet.
What?
What? Yeah, so anyway, he abandoned us. He's in the Shadowfell.
Who?
That elf.
Helia kind of puts a hand on a dagger. You can see Helia looks a little bit better now. But she says, so do we go after him?
I mean,
No.
I don't know.
it says nothing left here for me. I'm going in on a. And then I think he left before he finished. So he might be dead.
Yes.
That seems really suspicious, don't you think? That
Yeah,
he would
that's
just,
I mean, I thought it was suspicious from the get-go to leave him here with this. What I told you was a powerful teleportation device towards what I assumed and was correct in assuming was to the Shadowfell.
Are we sure it's his handwriting?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I mean, it's signed in his name.
It just seems weird.
Doesn't
I
matter.
think it's weird.
I mean, when you think about it, it's not really weird. He was afraid of Jared from, the fact that he stole from him, and he's like a couple hundred years displaced from his time.
Gunter,
but
can
he
you
seemed
close
like
it?
such a...
Can you close it?
I'm gonna inspect. Is there a way that I can like turn it off or close it, or just
Yeah,
destroy
where's
it?
the switch?
Actually,
How close are you getting to this thing?
I'm gonna stay at least 15 feet away at all times.
So you get to within 15 feet. Make an investigation check, just flat investigation, because it's a little far away, not the easiest thing to see.
That's a 14.
Okay. You get there, you kind of lean forward. You have to lean real far forwards. Your eyes not what they used to be. You don't get to be 287 years old with perfect eyes. That's exactly how you look. One eye kind of drifting away slowly. And as you do, you kind of lean forward and you can hear again, come and see.
Someone wants me to come in and
Close
see
it.
it.
I don't think you should.
Close
I don't
it.
think you should.
Well,
But
how
for what
do
it's worth, with that investigation check, you don't see like a switch necessarily.
Break it. Shoot it. Kill it.
I mean, it's as far as I can tell, it's an inanimate object. I don't think it's something that I can kill. I know that's how you usually solve your problems, but that's not going to work here.
Gunter, break it.
I mean,
Yeah, the cats got disturbed by that.
I'm gonna try to cast Dispel Magic on it.
Sure. What level are you casting Dispel Magic at?
So I think I'm gonna do base level of, I believe it's a 3rd level spell.
Okay.
And any spells active on this gate that are 3rd level or lower are automatically done so, and anything
You're gonna
above.
have to make a roll for it. So go ahead and make a roll.
All right. Let's see here. Oops. Nice. I don't know what the modifier is. Is that just my spell modifier?
It is going to be it's your spellcasting ability.
Oh, okay.
Or sorry. It's a spell for each spell higher the target, make an ability check using your spellcasting ability. So it's an ability check using your spellcasting.
Nice. That's a 21 then.
Okay. So Guntir, as you reach out and you cast Dispel Magic, there is this thunder that even down here, rocks jumbled loose from above, and the portal, you can hear this last sort of word as the shadows begin to flicker almost out, and elements of reality can be seen behind it. You just hear, do you feel it? The weight of ages. And it disappears. The portal shuts. And again, there is just this arched door and wires. The wind dies down. The parchment in your hand falls limp.
I'm just kind of like touching the wire, just kind of like, I think I got it.
Good job.
Cool.
Well, Well, goodbye, Anasu. Good luck.
Yeah, I don't think he's gonna need much luck.
Oh, you think he's got it?
No.
No, I think it's past the point of luck.
What's his
So-
Okay,
choice?
well, that's one problem solved and one less
Let's go.
thing to worry about. Yes. I'm gonna scour the room for the brooch. Check
Okay.
every room we've already been in.
Make an investigation check. Make it an advantage. You're taking some time really looking through.
Yeah. And I know what it is now. Thank goodness for advantage. Thank goodness for advantage. Dirty 20.
Dirty 20. You really begin to look around. Everybody kind of jumps in, I would imagine, and tries to help, perhaps, or maybe some of you do other things. Let me know if you want to. But Helia,
help.
for her part, helps. Morwen helps. Shae helps. People are beginning to kind of look through. You pull over, and Heinrich, you do find as you go through not a brooch. You don't find any jewelry or any kind of gold, but as you're kind of looking around, your eyes catch the title of a book. Well thumbed through. You can actually see little things protruding from it, maybe saving spaces. To your eyes, they wouldn't initially be able to read it. You can see the runes on it. Not a language actually that you're even familiar with, but they shift and reshape using the feature of your warlock abilities. And you suddenly see in front the Shadowfell. It's gold lettering on a purple covered book.
I think I might have found some info at least against our number one enemy. Maybe, I don't know. I'm just
Time.
yeah.
Read it at
That's
your
what it says.
leisure.
How did you know? Just kidding.
I've been learning.
Yeah, it's gonna take
Time.
me a little while. I'm gonna like thumb through and just make sure that it's as dense as I'm assuming it is.
It's fairly dense, but there are a few like marked areas, which you can flip through if you want.
I'll start there,
Okay.
and then over time look for anything relating to kind scale or dragons or anything like that.
I will say you don't find much about kind scale. You do find, I would say, you do find mention of something called deep dragons. They are these kind of purple, shadowy, generally smaller than most dragons, although equally fierce in a variety of ways. There's mention of this kind of soul-shattering shout ability that it has. The wings themselves, not just skin and scale, but part shadow as well. But it's unclear as to how accurate that is. It's spoken of in almost like a kind of legendary
Folklore,
way.
kind
Yeah,
of.
exactly.
Yeah.
But there are passages that are marked, and they do seem to be maybe a little bit more rooted in reality. There is mentions of a place called Gorskor, which I would say, yeah, it kind of lifts off. It is another language, although again, you don't speak it necessarily, but it shifts around. And you can see that it does say, one second here. It reshapes to read Mortal Exchange is the closest translation that you would have. And as that kind of reshapes, you can read a little bit about it. It is this sort of fortress within the Shadowfell. It is ruled by somebody called the Lord of Woe, also called the Mournful Sovereign. This creature, whatever it is, it's called the Shade. Himself, one of the very few entities within the Shadowfell that deals with mortals, although not always in the most positive of ways. He's also referred to as the Soul Drinker, and he runs something known as this mortal. It's called the Exchange. You get the sense through reading it that it has something to do with the exchange of souls. Mortals are sometimes allowed through. There is note of a guardian. Not a lot is mentioned about the guardian, save that they're generally known as the Lector.
Okay.
Lector.
Okay. Now, is he bookmarking these in any discernible way, research, or trying to
You
Are
can
there
see the
notes?
word
Are there notes?
exchange underlined, and you kind of
Yeah.
flip through. You go to the next marked passage. The exchange is this sort of, it is a market. So there is a place, this gore score, it has elements that will lead other places to it.
Mhm.
This is one of the very few places in the Shadowfell that a mortal from another realm might come to exchange. It seems like souls or other probably very valuable things, for a variety of things found only within the Shadowfell.
Mhm.
Of these, there are components that are kind of circled that as you begin to pull from it, you think about this sort of structure that you have, or that you've seen that held elemental energy somehow within.
Mhm.
And something about the negative energy that infuses the Shadowfell can produce material that can bind elemental energy to it, not allowing it to escape. And it seems as if Gerard has at least once ventured to the Shadowfell and to retrieve things from it. You get the sense that he has pulled material from it. And then you begin to kind of think. You know that the Azers are supposed to be powered by elemental fire.
Mhm.
You know all of them, save the perfect one were. And you begin to get the sense that something with this last one went wrong.
Mhm. Hence the corrosion that overrode the other ones too. Well, maybe.
And
I
you
don't know.
also begin to think, Anasu worked here. Anasu was a researcher, one of the higher kind of tiers around here. Would Anasu go to a place that he knew was extremely dangerous without some way of knowing that he could get out?
Right.
And you wonder,
Or without a purpose, and like, what the hell was that purpose?
and you realize, you've seen bodies around. You've explored a lot of this place. And you think back to your question, you haven't seen Jared in here. You haven't seen a corpse.
Mhm.
And your eyes drawn back to that door.
Guntir,
Yeah.
if need be, could you open that again? Figure out.
I just closed it. You want me to figure out how to open it?
Well, either that or we backtrack through this entire workshop and find a different way to the Golden Terrace.
Why
But-
did
Was that really the only way?
No, not
Or the only
necessarily.
two
We could
ways?
still explore the rest of this floor, but
so now I gotta
something's telling me that Jared is maybe through there as well.
Why do you want to find Jared?
Right now, it seems like a ridiculous thing to say, but to get to his workshop, to go out the top, go to a different plane to get a key and come back. It's ridiculous, I know. But
You see
other than
Helia
that,
shake her head and just say,
there's,
I
it would be
don't
worth it more to check
understand.
here.
I agree with that. Going to this place, although I don't know much about it, it seems
No
to
one
be fairly dangerous. If Shae doesn't want to go, I don't really want to
Incredibly
go
dangerous.
either.
I don't want to go.
So maybe we exhaust all options first, eh?
Yeah, easiest.
Besides,
for sure.
Gunter, are you even able to open it again?
I don't know.
Gunter, you did dispel the magic, and you get the sense that unless you can recast whatever effect had taken it, and you look, and this is artificing. You know enough, and I would say, Gunter, you know enough to know this is the Fazarakian technique. This is artificing. This is largely a art that has been lost for a very long time. There are a few who practice very basic elements of it still, but Fazarakian techniques died with the Fazarak Scald, in early second age, late second age.
If you're asking me, can I do magic that's been dead for hundreds of years, then no, I don't think I can. I mean, the Stazarakians, they've been gone for centuries. You ask me, I can dispel it, I can get rid of it, but it's a lot easier to, blow something up than to reconstruct it from the broken pieces after. You should have asked me before you told me to blow it up.
I would rather blow up the ceiling than go back through there.
Yeah, to that point, I actually might agree on that one as well. Is there any? Okay, hold on. Recalling something just randomly popped into my mind. I feel like Heinrich's too, as he was reading it. Was there anything off? I know there's something off about that pool on the Golden Terrace, or the Circle of Gold.
Sure.
Is there anything in connection to that versus bearing witness to a direct portal to the Shadowfell?
you remember that water on the surface seemed pretty calm, but something beneath seemed especially dark, perhaps.
I will convey that sentiment. But I suggest that we move on. I don't want to. It's not like it's any more dangerous here than it was before. Well, maybe it's less now that the gate can't be opened. But as far as I'm concerned, take anything that we think we might need from this room and let's just never come back here again.
Helia nods and says, "That's fine with me. I think maybe this will express just how I feel about this place, but I'm not going to touch anything." And she kind of takes a couple steps back into the hallway.
Fair enough.
I'll follow her.
I'm gonna obviously keep that.
I think
book.
I've already looked in this room and done what I
Okay.
wanted.
Yeah, keeping that book, keeping the designs for the perfect days, or just in case.
Okay, you can add the book The Shadowfell to your inventory.
Yeah.
You guys make your way one by one out.
It's around before I go. See, like, are we missing anything of like importance in here that would help us in finding Jared or getting up to the terrace? Because this room had a very powerful artifact.
First,
Yeah.
make an intelligence check. As you look around the room, you scour for something to cling on to, some sense of meaning or purpose.
That's 13.
Your eyes go across kind of normal stone. You've gone across these tables and the tools. You saw Heinrich scouring all the books, but you're a dwarf, and your eyes kind of pull back to the stone on the ground and the walls, fairly mundane. But then your eyes catch these mosaics, dozens of materials, maybe more, maybe hundreds.
I'm gonna inspect the mosaics more closely.
Okay. You go up to the nearest one, the one of the hatchet man, and you can see there are hundreds of small pieces of different materials here and there. You think about these, you think about the Shadowfell, you think about everything that you've kind of seen, and slowly you're beginning to wonder. I will say, Guntir, make a history check.
Ooh. Believe that is an 18.
Is it an 18?
Yes. It is an 18.
Guntir,
Unless
you've
it's
heard.
Stone.
It's about stone.
Would it be stone cutting stone?
It would be stone cutting stone.
Then that is more than 18. That's 23.
Okay.
Yeah, 23.
You begin to pick out elements of these components, and you think about them in relation to the different beings, the entities, the decorations. You begin to put it all together. This is the sort of, if you guys have seen The Hangover, this is the moment where Zach Galifianakis kind of begins to put math together, and things actually begin to work. From your perspective, Gunter's eyes are just bouncing all around. But Gunter, you begin to think. These Azers, all held in simple devices. You remember ripping open the hatchet man's chest and finding the very simple chest within. You think about the perfect Azer, a weird hue to that brass. And you're beginning to realize when Jared attempted to infuse the perfect Azer with the mote of elemental fire, something with that mote must have been wrong. You look through the materials and you can see there are some that hail only from elemental planes. You see amongst them things from the elemental plane of fire, the elemental plane of water, the elemental plane of ice. And the ice in particular, you begin to think about that. You remember the creature had this ice, and then suddenly this name seems to almost jump to the front of your memory. It is this flashback of the perfect Azer, the voice emanating from it, saying the name Orvanesker. And something about that is deeply unsettling to you. Although with an 18 even, I'm not quite sure what that means.
It was a 23 if it was stone cutting.
For the history?
Yeah.
No, that is not about stone cutting.
Oh,
but related to the elemental planes and the stones that you found and identified from there.
Orvanesker. Do I blow this? I
And
think.
Guntir, you suddenly realize you're the only person left in this workshop. Everybody else is kind of out in the hall.
Walking towards the other direction we haven't gone yet.
No, I would wait.
Except for Morwen, who's waiting at the door.
I'm gonna mumble to myself, Orvanesker, and use legend lore again. And for the next 10 minutes, I'll be walking along and thinking about Orvanesker.
False. Guntir, you cast legend lore. You say Orvanesker, and as you do, this word hangs in the air. You can see the word almost freeze in front of you, and as it does, the ice traces back and into your mouth and throat and over your eyes. For you, Morwen, who stayed behind, you see this. You see the ice almost reach out of thin air and grasp Guntir by the face. And Guntir, in this moment, you are pulled through time and through space. You feel years passing. You feel yourself getting younger and younger and younger, and you are before your time. You are 300 years in the past, 400, 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 years into the past. You see kingdoms rise and fall. You see the bow in Sunrest grow back together. You can see the world, Alberon, shift and change. You can see Dominion, the continent that you're on, with Sunrest swirling back together and into it. At one point, one structure, words go by that you can't really recognize. And suddenly you are no longer on Alberon. Alberon doesn't exist. You go to before Alberon existed. You're in a dark space, and then you are somewhere so bitterly cold that you can feel your heart almost break as it seems to almost freeze through. And in front of you, you see a massive mountain of black ice and snow. It's hard to even think through the intensity of this temperature, but all that you can kind of feel in this moment as the wind howls past you, and in your mind, Guntir, your skin is freezing solid and just drifting off as particles of ice and snow, your body tearing away from you, and all you can hear is this sort of laughter. It sounds like glaciers crumbling together. And that's all. Guntir, suddenly the ice shatters from your face. You gasp in one breath, and you are back.
You okay, buddy?
I think we're dealing with some beyond existence thing. It is decidedly above our pay grade.
Well, this all is, considering we're not getting paid, so I have to agree with you there.
Hey guys!
Here, let's go catch up.
Guys!
Guntir and Morwen join you after a time. You guys have made your way pretty much at this point to these the crossroads, to the area that you haven't explored yet. You can see it kind of continues down, goes to the left, normal kind of left angle or right angle hallway. And then Guntir and Morwen rejoin. Guntir, hey guys.
So I think you remember that name that the robot said?
No.
Not particularly, no.
What? Did you hear that? It was like, Vanesca's gonna be happy about this. And then it started attacking
Shae, make a
us.
history check.
Oh, shit.
I think that might be...
It's an 11.
Okay. It pulls at your memory, but you don't know anything specifically.
I think we've got some trouble on our hands.
Well, we've had
We
some
certainly
trouble
do.
to begin with.
From
Hmm?
Do you have anything more specific?
Well, I existed beyond time and experienced a most bitter cold that would kill anyone within a fraction of a second, and hideous laughter like the sound of glaciers crumbling before my very eyes.
You didn't take those old mushrooms, did you?
Yeah, you
No.
okay? What are you talking about?
I don't know, but it's bad.
Okay.
Uh,
A lot of bad seems to be going on right now. Do we need to add more to our plate?
I mean,
I think he's saying it's already on our plate.
seems like it's there, yeah.
Seems like
Helios
it might be the
seems- or-
entree.
I would say probably because he saw it. Krodek actually kind of suddenly perks up a second, and he looks at you, Heinrich. Heinrich,
Yeah.
could you ask your bull?
Yeah, I suppose. I was kind of waiting for him to call me. I didn't want to bother him again. I don't even know what time it is, but
Well, have you checked it?
I would have noticed if he left a message, but okay. And I'll pull it back out.
Inert. I mean, since you last spoke to him, it's been just a little over 24 hours.
Right.
So it hasn't been that long.
Right. What is it that you would... Well, here, why don't you, and I'll just hand it to Krodek.
He kind of startles. The feathers ruffle up around the
You
Aarakocra's
seem
neck,
to
but
know
he
what you
takes
were
it.
going to ask about.
How
Hold on, and I'll just pull out the gourd. and just
the
say,
decanter of endless water.
Yeah, I'll put enough in it.
Okay, but you fill this thing up, and it kind of shimmers, and a second goes by, and suddenly the water surface grows.
I'll stand
white.
next to him as well.
Yeah.
Just to be like, hey, what's up? My friend wants to talk to you.
You're FaceTiming now.
More or less.
And all of a sudden, the white becomes at once opaque and then translucent, and you can see dressed and awake and conscious.
Yeah,
for the
that's why I
first
wanted
time.
to wait.
Lore Master Boron, who nods to you. You can see a smile on the gray-skinned Goliath face. Heinrich,
Yes,
thank you for calling at a normal hour.
I figured I at least owed you that much. But I also would like to let you know Jared's workshop is quite intense. There's another question coming your way shortly. Actually, I'll ask my question second, but you would love to see this place for sure.
I'm sure, but
There's something pressing apparently that one of us has just uncovered that I think Krodek, you said you had. This is Krodek, this is Lore Master Boron.
Krodek kind of awkwardly waves a hand, not really sure where to do it. And you can see Boron kind of just nod. Krodek says, I merely meant to ask, do you know the name Orvanesker? And you can see Boron, there's something that bothers him when you say that, and he nods. Of course I know Orvanesker. Well, you called me, so. Orvanesker, long before Alberon existed within the plane of ice. He is the ruler of that place.
That tracks.
He makes his home in the mountain of ultimate winter. It is cold enough to freeze thoughts, ideas, emotions.
Yeah.
He collects them in shelves of moving ice. And his mission is to make everything grow cold. At least that's what the myths say. I mean, that's, long before written history, if it happened at all.
Yeah, it happened.
Okay. Krodek, was there anything else that you needed to ask him?
You can see Krodek is kind of drawn back away from the bull a little bit, and he shakes his
Okay,
head.
cool. I'll take it from him.
Okay, he heads back towards Shae, but
So while we were in here, we discovered the forge key that powers this place. Forge key, you know of that?
yes,
Surely.
the Forge Key, a legendary artifact.
Right. Well, oh gosh, how to sum this up in a way that won't take
You-
forever.
I'm sorry. You said you found the forge key.
Yeah, it's according to
I try to
according to
Oh,
someone who's
I
been
know
there.
what the forge key is.
Well,
That's
Yes, not what it is, but what state
you
it
must
is
retrieve
in.
that.
What state it is in is the problem.
Can we hang up on him? I want to try to hang up.
You try to
Spill
spill
the
it.
Hunter, do you spill the bowl?
Yeah, I want to try to spill the bowl. And...
No, I'm not gonna let him. Talking
Okay,
to this guy.
compose. Well,
I'm just gonna
I
go.
would say
I mean,
You-
what?
Short
Sleight of
flat.
hand? Like,
I'm gonna say Gunter. Go ahead and make an attack roll, contested by Heinrich. I'm gonna say make a perception
save?
check,
perception
Perception.
check. Ugh, you're,
just to see if you can see him come.
you're giving
You
Gunter
can
the
make a
upper
dex. You can make a dex save if you want. I just
Oh, I'd
assumed you
rather.
want something. Okay, yeah, make a dex save.
No, because Dex is better than perception for me. Holy shit.
Go for it. Go for it.
20.
Was that a non-natural 20? Because
That was a
mine
dirty
was a
20.
natural 20.
Well, you fucking
Oh.
don't break this goddamn ball.
He doesn't break the bowl, but what happens is, as you say that, you can see Boron looks up and he just kind of begins to speak, and he says, "Long ago," and then Gunter comes up and the water splashes out. You hear the voice, "Go, go, go," off into the air,
Gunter,
and this
what
spell
the
seems to
hell?
have ended.
Look, he doesn't need to know that stuff.
What?
He's not here to deal with it.
Yeah,
You're
but he
giving
might
him
know.
too much information.
He.
The
he
last
knows as
person we gave
much as-
information to is in the Shadowfell now.
Yeah, but this guy,
But this guy is a big mean rock dude.
Rock
I don't
Dude,
care.
he's just a. That's so. Okay.
No, I think Gunter's right. I remember there was something a little off about him. I don't think he needs to know everything that we've discovered.
Mm.
You're too loose-lipped.
I don't. Think
I
he's
just
a
like to
bad
know
guy,
more
but
information.
He's got his own intentions.
I just figured we could use all the help we could get. That's all.
I can help you.
We already know that this
Not in
thing.
this situation. Unless you know more about the forge key than any of us here, yourself included.
Matter of fact, I don't.
Doesn't matter what he knows because he's not here.
Fine.
And if he knows that it's here,
This
and he can
argument
use what he
is
knows
not
to do
moving
what
us
he
closer
wants.
to the top. Let's go.
Fine.
We don't need people knowing about the thing that could destroy this whole city.
Fine. Fair enough. Yet again, you are persuasive, and I put the bowl away.
You damn Skippy.
Now
You
start
stow the bowl
walking.
away.
Huh?
Now start walking.
That's right, Gunter.
Yeah, Gunter. No, I'm just kidding. I don't do that. I don't.
Where am I walking?
No, we're going to check out this other neck of the woods. No, neck of the stone. Neck of the
Building.
mountain. Anyways, going down this hill.
Sure. So you guys begin to walk down this hall. You stow the bowl away, water left on the floor. But you make your way down this hall. No problem. You go around the left bend. And the room that kind of emerges before is very odd. It's domed in a way, but it's almost as if somebody took a cylinder and cut it in half. The floor is that halfway mark, and it rises up like this, almost like a aircraft hangar, but very small. No more than 20 feet wide, no more than 30, maybe 40 feet long. What takes up most of this space is this large metal object, deeply corroded at this point. It was steel or iron or something that has succumbed partially to time or moisture or something. I would say, given what you guys have seen, actually, Heinrich, I would say you, having looked before beneath the cat's paw deck at the equipment that powered the statue on the top, that lightning cannon, there are elements of similar machinery here. There is something electrical about this. Make an investigation check.
Gladly. 20. Dirty 20.
Dirty 20. You kind of walk in a little bit, very gingerly, look around, you're careful. And you look at it and you approach. This seems to be, and you kind of look at parts where it gets from one end, which is huge and wrapped in elements of still almost green filaments that have rusted away over time, but copper at some point. Certainly like an engine, a battery, something. This is advanced. And again, your mind is brought back to the fact that Morwen and Guntir had found this like cutting edge narcotic in this long sealed vault. And you're realizing that this is a place that is so far ahead. And something is really tugging at you about that portal to the night, or to the Shadowfell. You're beginning to wonder, this place seems connected to so many other places. It's hard to tell exactly what the nature of this is, but it seems to maybe be tied to, at one point, moving things rapidly from one place to another. You look beyond and you can see the hallway continues. It kind of, like another doorway, and continues on. You look up, and with that investigation check, you can see more of these like rust lines, the metal no longer even present, but at one point similar to the candlelight sway, leading down that hallway, and whatever this powered, you would imagine lies ahead.
Did we... You know what? Curiosity is just getting the better of me, and I'm just gonna start walking down towards it.
So you begin to walk past this large machinery. Everybody else going as well?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. You progress, walking through this room, this generator type machinery. And as you pass, you are aware of this kind of green rust that lines the walls. 3 lines, 2 on either side, 1 in the ceiling. Down this hallway, maybe 20 feet, and it leads to a door. This door at one time was massive, thick metal. You can see a lock, complex, similar to the 4-tumbled one that you picked previously, Morwen. And this door at one point would have been quite a challenge. However, time, whatever element has rusted much of this machinery away, has eaten the door to a point where you can actually see through it like Swiss cheese. And on the other side, you can see this large metal structure. This appears to be a dead end. But Heinrich, your words are almost called back to you from previously. You couldn't find anything to put them into before. But in front of you, there is what looks like, and partially damaged as well, unclear if it would work. It is a large box with a single, what looks like slot that perhaps a coin could pass into. But because it is 11:52, this is where we're going to stop for tonight. So, thank you guys very much for joining us for Adventures in Alberon. Thank you to Talon and Doss and Wise Man AM. Welcome to the party. To Isumu, to everybody who subscribes, to the sort of people who cheer. The bits are actually super helpful. We're actually just kind of talking about some of the cool stuff that we can do and will be doing as a result of sort of the support that you guys have given us, really. But to that note, we're going to end there for the